Welcome to the Krueg Show after Game 2 of the Finals. It's in the books, and Golden State comes away with a 19-point win. We got an even series going back to Boston for Game 3. Hope everybody had a phenomenal weekend. Larry Krueger, joined by Dan Coccimiglio, the great Ryan Smith in the house. Cyrus Saatsaz will be joining us, the host of Locked On Warriors. We may even get a visit tonight from Kylan Mills from Cron. But, man, Golden State needed a bounce-back victory in the worst way, fellas. And they got exactly that. They got a nice performance in Game 2 out of Steph Curry. They silenced, many of the Celtics as far as, we didn't see anything from Marcus Smart in this game. Really, Golden State did a nice job across the board defensively in that third quarter. That's where this game was won. Golden State won this game in that third quarter, took control at that point and didn't look back, and they get a 19-point win. So Boston gets a close win in Game 1, dramatic win, come from behind. Golden State evens the series with a 107-88 victory tonight, and now the series shifts to Boston for Game 3 Wednesday night, I believe. We get Game 3. Guys, what stood out to you before we get it rolling? And of course, we got lots of people in the chat already. People want to get in. People want to talk about this one. But why don't we start with you guys? What did you guys think overall of the performance in Game 2? They had to get this win. It looked a little dicey early, but Golden State got it and pulled away in the third to get it.
I'm not overreacting either way too much. Honestly, after the first half, I was nervous. That was, you know why I was super nervous is that in the first, 5 finals runs that we've had, I've never felt like we're in a situation where, okay, the refs are going to probably help us out a little bit. And I felt like we got a pretty friendly whistle that first half. And we were just hanging in there. And it just seemed like, they just seemed suffocating. Clay seemed kind of weirdly a little scared, like a little hesitant with the ball. And man, we just kind of outlasted them that first half, and then we were able to get the third quarter rolling. But Boston's a great team. I'm just so happy that we were able to go into the fourth quarter and relax. Like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but I felt like I needed that break after the third quarter. But yeah, Curry was unbelievable. I think that a very important thing is that weirdly Tatum in the first game, you could argue that he was actually a little bit better than his stats said, just because he was getting other people involved. They were hitting their shots. This game, he was, I think, 6 of 8 from 3 or something like that, but 2 of 8 from 2. He had the worst plus minus in the shot clock era history. He was a minus 36 on the court. I don't think anybody else was, even above like 27 or 26. So I kind of like the way they were playing defense. Like, they were getting up in him. And my God, GP2 is just a freaking... He's a game changer. The tenor of the game completely changed when he got in the game. We started getting steals and turning those steals into offense. They started feeling uncomfortable with the ball. And what I like to see is all the Boston big national media I follow, all the Barstool guys, et cetera. Game 1 was like, oh, the West is weak. Like, these guys are soft. Like, they can't handle this. They were all complaining like, oh my God, like, you think Horford just misses a layup? Like, you think he just misses without getting, obviously he was fouled. They started complaining about the physicality, and we were swarming. And my God, I've never seen a moment where Steph Curry, it felt like he was having a defensive heat check there in the third quarter. Like, he was playing unbelievable defense. He was all over the place. He was taking the challenge and then coming right down the court. And it happened to coincide with him going off on, from the 3. And my biggest question is just like, coming out of this is like, can Clay get it going? Can Poole? I loved what I saw from Poole, but at the end of the game, but he was pretty lost in the first half. Can we, the best lineup out there almost seemed like it was like Draymond, Steph, Wiggins, GP, and Porter. like it was like, oh, we started making a run with that lineup, and it made me think, is this maybe not the series for some of our, like Klay Thompson, Jordan Poole, not in terms of like what Sty was saying last time, but like, I mean, I don't know, maybe we have to mix up the rotations a little bit because we have to be more athletic and we have to be engaged on defense. We went on a 10-0 run when Klay and Poole checked out of the game in the second quarter. So yeah, there's just a lot of.
I was surprised that, I mean, I want to hear from Danny here, but I was surprised all the different spots on the court that Thompson is shooting from. It's like settle into 3 or 4 spots that you feel good about and maybe you try to get comfortable like that, because he was 4 of 19, 1 of 8 from beyond the arc. I'll still take my chances with Klay Thompson in any kind of a catch and shoot situation. But what I really don't like is when he puts it on the deck in the half court, tries to kind of maneuver around and shoot it off the dribble. I'd love to see the breakdown of his catch and shoot percentage versus, dribble to an open space percentage, because it just seems to me anytime he puts it on the deck and tries to free himself up, those are hard shots for him to knock down. I don't know if he's thinking about it more, if his form's a little different. When he can just catch and shoot or come off a screen and roll right into it, he just seems like he's much more like Klay Thompson of old. To me, he's the one factor that makes you a little concerned. But hey, Golden State got a convincing win, and most importantly, they got Peyton back. And Peyton's a difference maker, and he was plus 15 in 25 minutes. And man, you will pick up the box score and you look at Gary Payton and you say, well, 7 points, 3 assists. What did he really do? But plus 15, I mean, he didn't miss a shot, took only 1 3, missed his 2 free throws, but didn't miss a shot from the field. But his defensive intensity and his defensive the length and the strength of him on the defensive end of the floor, he's a difference maker, and they got to play him significant minutes the whole series to have a shot, in my opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. GP2 is the X factor, in my opinion, in this series. And he is the catalyst that just kind of changes the whole defensive intensity. When he comes out, you just start to expect it to go up a notch. Things get better. Shots get missed. Warriors get the rebounds. They get out on transition. Tonight was a defensive effort, a total team effort. But when they called timeout, there was a certain point when they said, get Klay out of there and put GP2 in, and they did. And they went on that big run. Look at the assists tonight, though, for Boston. Tatum had 13 in game 1. Tonight, he only had 3. And the way they played Jaylen Brown, they made him go left tonight. The other night, they were letting him go right, and he was blowing past everybody that was on him, including even Wiggins. Tonight, it looks like they made a conscious effort to force him left because Jaylen wants to go right. And one time he went left, and I think he got to the hoop and got a foul, but he almost lost control of the ball. He's not as confident going to the left. It clogs up their whole offense when he can't move to the right. And that's the key, is picking him up all over the court. You notice tonight they picked him up much higher up and they didn't let him get into those 3-point shots and let him drive to the lane and then kick it out. It just wasn't happening tonight. So I think if they can continue to do that, put the clamps on him, that the Warriors are going to be in game 3 and 4. The Warriors learned a lot losing the way they did, I believe. And I think it was a blessing in disguise to blow a 12-point lead game 1 on your home court. Now when they get up, they know they can't afford to let off for one play, because Boston is one shot away from getting right back into a game. And you notice it happened tonight. They got down to within 6, and then the Warriors turned it up and never let off again. And I think the Warriors going forward with GP2 out there. Also, let's not forget Bielisa. He contributed a lot tonight.
He was great.
Too.
Yeah, he really was. I mean, the numbers don't look great. I was just looking at Bielisa, 6 points, 5 rebounds, but his 6 points was on 3 of 4 shooting. And I thought he played with a lot of poise. I mean, he really did. I thought there was times where Bielitsa looked really, really good. I don't know how you guys feel about this. I think Boston is the best team that Golden State has faced in this run. I know there will be arguments for other teams, I'm sure.
No doubt.
But
I think
to me, this is the best. This is the best team they've faced.
Oh, in the championship
well, I mean, it's definitely the best team they faced this year. Like the old talk of the talk about, was it Cy or somebody said, hey, Memphis is going to be the toughest opponent.
No.
Memphis is not Boston. Boston's better than Memphis, but Boston may be the best opponent Golden State has faced throughout. Unless if you're not going to go with this Celtics team, that looks so strong at this point, who would you go with? Who would be the best team they've played in their run?
I'd say 2017 Cavs were a historic team, and although we beat them 4-1, I mean, I'm pretty sure they swept their way through the East. I mean, that was a very historic, all the metrics back it up team, and I think that team was a hell of a team. And then the Raptors, I think, were a slightly better version of the Celtics team.
Okay,
just because, you know what? Honestly, it comes down to this: Kawhi is a seasoned vet who, I mean, look, we talked about it with Grant Napier. It is unprecedented for the best player on a championship team to be 24 years old. It just is. And Tatum really, I mean, if they're going to win this, it's going to be more of a team effort than a Tatum effort. So I just got to give the nod to the Raptors for that.
What do you think, Danny? Where do you put the Celtics team with the best teams Golden State has played during their entire dynasty run here?
Well, I think overall as a team, I'd put them right up there at the top. If you're talking LeBron 17 along with Kyrie Irving, that tandem was very tough to beat. That's a better tandem than Tatum and Brown, but I think Boston goes deeper.
It is interesting watching the game 1 and game 2 for Al Horford and Marcus Smart. Man, those guys were good in game 1. Horford couldn't miss. I mean, he looked like he was 10 years younger. He was a total non-factor tonight. He only took 4 shots, but he didn't do anything. I mean, he had 2 points. He had 8 rebounds. He had 1 assist. Game 1, he was everywhere. He was finding guys. He was making threes. He just made the game look easy. Marcus Smart, another guy. Game 1, he looked terrific, especially in the first half. Tonight, this Marcus Smart struggled from the perimeter. I mean, 1 of 6 on field goals. He took 3 threes. He missed them all. And then you look at his turnovers. He had 2 points. He had 5 turnovers. So, I mean, they turned over Smart 5 times. They turned over Tatum 4 times. They turned over White 3 times. Derek White, when Peyton did come into the game, not only did it give the crowd a little bit of a jolt because they went crazy, but the Warriors immediately put him on Derek White. A lot of people were saying, they're going to put him on Jaylen Brown. They stuck him on White. And to me, that's I think that's the easier cover. And that's the guy that, I think Peyton can take away. I think they can turn off the offensive faucet from Derek White by just putting GP3 or GP2 on him, GP2 on him. And we saw a little bit tonight. I mean, Derek White had 12, so we had double figures, but it was on 4 of 13 from the field. They did have that one where they lost him in the half court and he got loose right in front of the Warrior bench and dropped a 3 in the first half. That was a blown assignment, but they did a nice job at shutting everybody down. I mean, Tatum had a big night. Brown had a decent night, but not a high percentage shooting night, 5 of 17, even especially after the hot start. I'd love to see Brown's numbers
unreal in the first
second, third, and fourth quarter. I'd love to see what Jaylen Brown's numbers were. But I'll tell you, I still think the guy who's got to be credited here is Draymond Green. I mean, Green, picked up the technical, and then there were people, Justin Termini, my buddy from Mad Dog, who covers the NBA, was like, Draymond Green now he picks up an early technical, and now he can do anything he wants to do the rest of the game. I think that's a little bit of a stretch, but NBA officials are going to be, reluctant to take star players, future Hall of Famers, off the floor in the finals. And you know what? I think that's a good thing. I want to see the game played by the players. I don't want to see people taken off the floor. You don't see that in baseball. You don't see, Buster Posey never got ejected in the World Series. I don't remember Derek Jeter getting ejected in the World Series. I don't remember Patrick Mahomes getting ejected from the Super Bowl. I don't want to see guys taken off the floor or off the field because of borderline officials' calls. So I was fine with the way this game was officiated, at least as it pertains to Draymond Green. Give me your guys' thought on that, because there were an awful lot of people, Celtic fans, who were not happy that after Green got the early technical, that they felt like he got the benefit of the whistle to keep him in the game later, when it could have been, a situation where they went double technical and he would have gotten number 2. Even the announcers debated it, and Mark Jackson sounded like he was rooting for the ejection. What'd you guys think?
Yeah, I think they brought in Steve Javy. He said, no, it's you just make a no call. Just let that go. As an official, he's aware of Draymond already having 1 T. And I think Van Gundy was basically saying the same thing. You don't let him. You want to let the players play. There's no reason to throw him out. Now, if Green had thrown an elbow or a shot to Brown's head when he was down, or kicked him when his feet were over his head and did something, you got to call that. But otherwise, it really and if you look at the play again, I think it was an offensive foul on Brown. He kicked his legs out just like Poole did earlier.
I think that actually played a part in it, is that if you go back and watch the replay, I mean, you could debate whether, I don't really like that as an offensive foul call, but I mean, it was just Brown shot, he shot and then he just kind of fell down, and Draymond a little backpedaled, fell into him. I mean, I'll say, I don't love Draymond pudding, especially when you see it in slow motion and his legs are still, you see it in real time and you're like, dang, like he kind of left his legs up there for a pretty long time on Brown. But look, I mean, hell, everybody in Warriors, like Twitter and stuff, is all pissed at Draymond being like, oh, Draymond's not focused. Like, what's all these, he has the podcast, like, oh, Warriors 2 podcast 0 because Andre has one as well. I'll tell you what. Draymond Green having a podcast is affecting things, because these refs don't want to get blasted on the national airwaves by Draymond Green, who has the chance to control the story right after the game. I think that's
I would really hope that's not a factor, man. I mean, why did you not call that call? Well, he's got a podcast, man. I mean, you kidding me? He's got a podcast.
If it was 2016.
I mean, could you imagine though if that's really in there thinking, I can't make this call. This guy's got a podcast. Have you seen the mic? He's got like a Dan Coccimiglio professional mic. I can't. He's got a podcast. He's got a brand new mic. Look at that thing, and it's got levels, and I can't make that call. The one that made me laugh was when he basically ran over Grant Williams.
Yeah.
And Grant Williams gets the call on him.
Yeah.
I mean, he ran him over from behind and foul on Grant Williams. I mean, that one made me laugh a little bit.
There was a reason why no Celtics fans or no Celtics teammates were up in arms about that one. Like, that was a -1,000, like that they were going to get into it at some point. Like, Celtics players can't stand Grant Williams. He's that guy that's like, all right, dude, you're a bench player. Why are you the one talking like you're the leader of the team?
Tom Pierce says, are all the show's stars going to be present tonight? Well, I don't know. It's like, I'm not sure. Cyrus is in a contract negotiation with our general manager, and there's a very good chance that he could be holding out, and Kylan might be doing a photo shoot somewhere that she can't make it. No, I'm just joking. I do expect that they'll join us at some point. Cy, I think, because of his Locked On Warriors Association, will do a little bit of a Locked On post game, and then he'll come join us. And then I'm not sure what Kylan's post game obligations are, but they are all invited, and we will see if they show up.
I think we have the retired coach going to be calling in soon too.
Okay, we're going to get Steve Coccimiglio, get his basketball expertise as well. Darren Wild Marchant says, great win, but Klay Thompson is really struggling. Yeah, I mean, it's like we can focus on the win and focus on an even series going back to Boston. And maybe the overarching question that would love to get people's thoughts on we're 2 games in. Who, if you had to say, is more in control of this series between the Celtics and the Warriors? But ultimately, man, and there's a lot of different arguments that can be made here. But Klay Thompson struggling does make you pause if you're Golden State, because he seems, some people would look at it one way and say, you know what? They're 1-1 and Klay's struggling. And guess what? That ain't going to last too long. And he's going to rain down a huge performance in one of these games in Boston. And it's going to be watch out. Or you could argue, you know what? Golden State can't get this done. They cannot climb this mountain without Klay Thompson, and maybe there's something fundamentally wrong. I don't know what you guys are seeing with Klay. I already kind of mentioned to you what I don't like. I'd rather see him catch and shoot and get to a couple of spots on the floor that he's real comfortable and just start feeling it, as opposed to moving all over the floor, trying to pound a couple dribbles, free himself up. Steph can do that, and Steph can still make it at a really high clip when doing that. I'd rather see Thompson off peeling off a screen. I'd rather see him, catch and shoot, or I'd rather see him score on the break, or some of the actions where he's got to catch it, kind of free himself up, and he's kind of drifting. It doesn't seem like he's going straight up and down. I don't know. To me, I have to really go through every possession and tell you, well, here were his numbers on catch and shoot. Here were his numbers where he took a few dribbles. Just my sense of it is that his alignment when he has to take a couple dribbles to free himself up is not straight up and down. He's not necessarily, some of those shots are not missing close. They're missing horribly. What's your read on what you guys read on Klay? And I think you would agree with me that they have to have him to climb this mountain and win this title. Would you not?
Oh yeah. And am I okay with my mic? Can you hear me all right?
We got you.
It maybe sounds a little bit distant, Dan. If you could go into your settings and maybe just check, make sure that the mic is in the input. But other than that, it sounds decent.
Okay.
While he's doing that, I think Klay, I pulled up this box score because I think it is telling. Look, okay, his plus minus, I think for this game actually matters. You can kind of see, all right, so Draymond's plus 7. He had a great game, but, Wiggins, Looney, Curry, Klay Thompson was a plus 0, and he started and played 30 minutes. You scroll down a little bit, and like I was saying before, the Otto Porter Jr., Gary Payton lineup mixed with Wiggins, Looney, and Curry, that or Dre, that seems like it may be our best lineup versus these guys. And this is the thing about Klay. It's fine. He needs to keep playing the same way Jordan Poole does. Klay is going to be a killer at some point. He's going to swing a game, but his defense was horrible again. And it's kind of sad to say, but he almost did his best job when he was on Al Horford in this game. And Al Horford was in the post, and Klay could kind of just use his old man strength versus him. He doesn't quite have the lateral quickness. I think that'll be back next year, but I don't know. It tried to get him going in the fourth quarter. They kept playing him and they kept shooting, and
really tough to come off the Achilles. Is that better, the mic?
Yeah, it is a little better.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, here's what I see about Klay. First of all, I'm not worried about them at all. They won convincingly tonight. He played a horrible game offensively. Like you said, Ryan, defensively, he was getting beat as well. So the professional that Klay is, he's going to be the most critical of himself more than anybody is, and he's going to come back fired up in Boston. I guarantee you he will not shoot this poorly throughout the rest of the series. He may struggle another game or two, but he's going to have some games where he is the go-to guy, where he's, 6 of 12 or something like that. And you're going to be saying, wow, we really needed Klay that game, and he came through, because he's too much of a professional. He's too hard on himself, and he's not going to want to go out there and embarrass himself. I just think he's, facing a lot of guys with quickness and length. And he's, as you said, Larry, his game is catch and shoot. He scored 60 points on 11 dribbles. He had on 2 or 3 shots tonight, he had more than 11 dribbles trying to find his way into the key and pull up and hoist a shot over somebody's, hand in the face, and he was fading back. He's a catch and shoot guy. That's what he's always been. That's what he's best at. So I think the Warriors will game plan to get him some shots. And if he's not doing it, you got GP2 to come in. You got Poole that if he plays under control, I'm saying the GP2 is the X factor in this series. He's just that good, and he throws off everything. He can play 1 through 5. I mean, he's down there 6'3", guarding Tatum. Granted, Tatum was able to shoot over him and score.
Oh, yeah, Peyton.
Yeah, when Peyton was guarding him, but GP2's this is his first game back in a month. He's only going to get better.
Oh, I know. I mean, GP2 is just he's just a unbelievable addition to this team this year. I mean, you can see it, and anybody dribbling around him feels his pressure, feels his presence, knows he's nearby. In some ways, if I said to you guys, and I already asked it once, and I'm going to throw it out again, who's in control of this series? Who's most in control
Boston.
Of this series? See, now I could see somebody saying Boston, right? Why? Because Boston came to San Francisco and they needed a split. They got a split. So you could say, you know what? Boston's in control. But then you could make a strong argument that the Warriors are in control. Why? Because Golden State just flushed Boston, beat them by 19. Wiggins had 11. Klay Thompson had 11. Jordan Poole, I thought, played horribly. Now, and the stats say he had 17, but to me, he looked horrible. Andrew Wiggins wound up with 11, and I thought looked tentative. I thought he played tentatively much of the game. So I don't, and Golden State, they lost on the glass. And, there was, to me, the bench scoring was even. They didn't get an incredible performance out of Otto Porter or anything like that. I think my point is, I think Golden State can play a whole lot better than what they played tonight.
Gary,
They won by 19.
I think you have an ad going in the background.
Home
Oh,
insurance
do I?
rates.
ESPN bastards with their autoplay ads.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, another factor I think that's maybe of importance that wasn't really talked about. Williams was hurting, the center, Robert Williams III. He was hurting tonight. You could see it. And then I think it was Smart fell into the same knee that's hurting, that left knee. And he stayed in there. And he came out pretty quickly after that because the game was out of hand. But I think they made him almost stay in there so that it's like, oh, we can't take him out after he looks like he even hurt his knee more, because they want to play that whole thing for Wednesday. They don't want to put it out there but I think the fact that Williams was moving very slow and can it last 7 games? And if he doesn't play up to his potential, that favors the Warriors big time, because he's their rim protector and their rebounder down there. So I think the Warriors going forward with the momentum they won tonight, winning convincingly, plus they won, they had game 1 up 12 points, right? Going into the fourth, and they let off.
It was a 12-point game going into 4.
The Warriors definitely know how to get up on these guys. And for Boston to win game 1, what did they shoot? Like 70-something% in the fourth quarter?
Well, they shot 50% on a ton of threes. I mean,
But for the fourth quarter, they were like 70%, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
75. I think it was 75 in the fourth.
Yeah.
I mean, they rained down threes for sure.
And that's not going to happen.
Todd McLean, guys, says we can start off the show by saying horrible take, Cy. After we ripped our boy Ryan last game when Ryan backed Poole, Cy wanted Poole replaced with just turned 20 Moses Moody, shaking my head.
No, he only said for a few minutes, give him a few minutes. He didn't say take Poole out of the game and put Poole or Moody in his place. I was saying the same thing.
Are you trying to debate right now?
I was saying give Moody a few minutes if Poole was not into the game. If he wasn't, if he was playing like he did game 1, That was size point, and even mine too.
It's the long game. Like you gotta. I mean, we're gonna need Poole. We're gonna need Poole at some point. And back to the Al. I mean, so the Al Horford stuff. I thought that a very telling thing was Draymond, the literal first possession of the game. Horford caught the ball at the top of the key. You know, the last game it would have been just wide open. If you want to stick three, you can take the three. Green just got right into him, just ripped the ball from him. Got it. It ended up being a jump ball, but it ended up being Boston's ball. But that kind of set the tone. And you know, I mean, we were sending help to him the entire time in the post. He looked a little lost. And then Rob Williams. I mean, this is the Rob Williams experience. I mean, if you watched, you know, the entire Eastern Conference playoffs for them, it was. Okay, Rob Williams is back. He's unbelievable. Bam Adebayo scores like 8 points and looks horrible. And then all of a sudden, Rob Williams looks injured. It just is. It's a game-to-game thing, I guess, because of the MCL. But I mean, the guy is still just a freaky dude. And I take a lot of umbrage with what Cy was saying about like, oh, what, they don't have any big guys. Like he's like 6'7". It's like I don't know if I've ever seen someone that was able to clean up everything like him. Like seriously, like how many times did Jordan Poole get blocked by him, or at least had a shot affected? Like
what exactly is umbrage, by the way? I mean, and it's easy to take it, but it's hard to lose it. Where do you get the umbrage? Well, you know, somebody's ears were burning. Cy has entered the green room. He's going through the veggie platter as we speak, and I'm seeing billowing smoke. Hey, it's a no smoking green room. All right. I don't know what seriously.
That it was a green room and thought that meant something else.
If I gotta send the YouTube cops in there, I mean, we had a guy wondering what condition Cy would show up in. Before we go to Cy, let me just read this one. Jaguayo 56 says he donates $5. Says Krueg, it's amazing how the Warriors play when they play team defense. It sure is great to see GP2 out there. Otto Porter, Bielitsa, great minutes as well. On that note, we welcome.
Wait. Sorry to interrupt just before. Also, yes. I think at some point after, you know, maybe 10, 15 minutes from now, or maybe after Dan's brother calls in, Andrew Cassidy, our guy on the ground,
I saw that.
Our correspondent, was in a suite with Kalena Azubuike all game, breaking it down. Apparently, so
we need our Cassidy Buki breakdown. Our Cassidy Buki breakdown. By the way, nothing says it all like haha. Who says big effing win, Larry? There we go. All right, we go to Cyrus Saatsaz, the czar of all that is Locked On Warriors, and he is with us on the Krueg show. What happened? Game one, you were detained. Game two, here you are. You're ready to roll. I really like that. So you guys talked more after the loss on the Locked In than you went on the win.
Well, isn't that how the media game works? The more negative it is, the more the use there is.
Yeah, exactly. They need you more.
He was taking donations for counseling.
Yeah, I mean, it was good vibes. It was short and sweet. It was
what do you think tonight? Great win tonight. Well, we just been talking about the win, and we were debating who right now between the Celtics and the Warriors is, if you had to say one but not the other, you can't be one of these agree to disagree guys. Who's more in control of the series, Boston or Golden State?
Golden State, easily. I mean, you know, if there's one thing in game one, I mean, those Horford going 6 for 8 from 3, Derek White going 5 for 8 from 3, Marcus Smart going 4 for 7 from 3. Draymond was saying it after the game. Steph was saying it after the game. You know, people call them arrogant, but it's like, I mean, if there's anyone who's an expert in this game, I'm going to say it's the people who have dominated this game like no other, who are still playing. You know, and those were anomalies, man. Those were really fluky type numbers. We did see much more aggressiveness. We did see Steve Kerr do a much better coaching job. And bottom line is this, though: when Gary Payton II plays, when Nemanja Bjelica plays, great things happen. Great things happen.
You know, it's so. I don't want to jump you right there, but I've said this theme 25 times this year. Maybe not 25, maybe more like 15.
You and I both, Larry.
I think but
seriously, we have talked so many times, and I love Kerr, and I think Kerr is a tremendous coach. And I told you guys about the Walnut Creek donut guy, CK, who's like, they're gonna fire Kerr's ass. You know, he sucks. You know, I'm like, CK, pump the brakes. If they fired him tomorrow, every team in the league would, probably fire their coach as well and try to get Kerr. I'm a huge Kerr fan, but the one thing that he has done repeatedly this year is when they've lost games, I'll look down at the box score and invariably it's he did not play GP2. He forgot about Peyton. He didn't bring him in. He underutilized him. It's been a consistent theme in their losses this year. Go back and check it. I can't tell you exactly. I haven't charted it, but I'm telling you, I'm a lifelong Warrior fan. I watch every freaking game. There have been so many times this year where I was like, how did they lose that game? Then I look at the box score. Oh, GP2 played in the second quarter, never was seen from again. So I love GP2. I think he adds tremendously to this team. I could not believe that we didn't see him in game one. I assumed, like the rest of you assumed, that he was not available. When I saw the Anthony Slater pregame tweet that I think it was maybe yesterday, that Peyton was healthy and was like, tell Kerr, I need to get in there. I feel good. I need some minutes. I'm like, I tweeted out, GP2's got to play. He's got to play. They've got to play him.
Did you see that clip I posted on Twitter as well? That his dad, the glove, was on with Rich Eisen. And
what did you say? No, I didn't see that.
I'm gonna email the link to Ryan right now so he can play it. He literally said he was perplexed why Kerr didn't play his son. He's like, my son is ready to play.
He said you have to ask Steve Kerr. You have to ask them.
He was bothered. He was bothered by it. I'm gonna send Ryan the link right now so he can play that because it was baffling.
I can't play the video, but I mean, same diff.
Wait, what?
Like, just so because we'll get tagged on YouTube if we play the video, but we can play the audio, which is
okay, fine. Sure.
Yeah, send it anyway. We'll play that audio.
You do whatever. Yeah, you do whatever you got to do. Okay. Yeah. So I just sent it to you, Ryan. But yeah, it's weird, man. And you're right, Larry. For some reason, I don't know why Kerr has this aversion to playing Gary Payton. It's not just Kerr. It's also Bob Myers. I mean, they almost let this kid go. I call him a kid. He's like 29 years old, but they almost let Gary Payton II go in the offseason. I mean, they waived him. He went through waivers. Any other team could have picked him up right before the season started. Thankfully, no one did, and then the Warriors, got him right back for cheap. It is weird. I don't know why Kerr has this aversion, but then he did come around. He started him in the Grizzlies series, but man, Gary Payton II. I was having these debates online with Celtics fans who were like, Gary Payton II, that's your savior, ha ha ha. And I'm going back at them, going,
yeah, laugh it up.
You're laughing up. Al Horford went 6 for 8 from 3.
Yeah, we'll invite you to the parade. You can laugh it up then.
Hey, fellas, on the topic of GP2, I just want to show this just stats wise. So I don't know if you guys know the website Dunks and Threes. They have the stat EPM that I really, really like. It's a Sai, are you nodding your head and don't like?
No, I've never seen it. I've never heard it.
So I really like this stat because it kind of shows especially oh my God, how good Steph Curry is. And it takes everything into account in terms of, it kind of is just if you put this player on a team with all league average players, what would their point differential be? So for context, the Celtics were the number one team in point differential this year at plus 7.1. So Steph Curry, with a bunch of average players, theoretically, if he played every minute, would be plus 7.2. So that shows how good he is, and I really like it. So if we show the top EPM on the Warriors, I think things will make a little bit of sense. Give me 1 second. Okay, here. Gary Payton II.
Wow, now we're busting out charts, man. Yes. We got charts. Look at that.
Not only is he second on the Warriors, but he's top 18 in the league.
Welcome to Wall Street Week.
Yeah, that's how freaking effective he is.
I'm Louis Rukeyser.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense though. It's Curry, Payton, Draymond, Thompson, Poole, Wiggins. But I mean, I'm just the guy is. It takes weird stats plus minus over a long period of time. With
throw all the stats out, just do the eye test. I mean, if you can't see what's going on out there when he's on the court, you probably don't know basketball. I mean, it's clear that he is a difference maker.
He's a suffocating defender. Yeah, totally. Danny's totally right on. Haha says, he says, here's my $5. He says, guys, the game turned at the end of the third when he pulled Jordan Poole and Klay Thompson and had GP2 and Otto Porter in there. Then he reinserted a hot Poole And then he goes on to say they need Klay the next game. That was another angle on this thing that we kind of talked about, Cy, is the Klay Thompson.
Yeah, well, just to add to that,
yeah,
I called the Hall of Famer Rick Barry because there's just very few people whose basketball opinions I respect, right? I mean, the more you're in this business, the more you realize most people have no idea what they're talking about. Rick, every word of his I listened to, and I asked him that. I'm like, what's going on with Klay in your opinion? He was in Chase Center, he watched the game, and his opinion was that Klay, every time he goes through these struggles, his feet are not set when he's putting up shots, meaning he's rushing the shots, he's forcing it. But at the same time, he also said, look, Klay is one of the greatest shooters this game's ever seen, and he could do the exact same thing in game 3 and put up 35, 40 points on 7 of 8 shooting from 3. So he's not worried. And if anything, if there's great news to this, is that Klay is due for a big game. The Warriors have to win one of these 2 games at the Garden, and hopefully Klay will go on a heater and deliver. So, look, man, they won. You know, like if they lost, that would be a glaring thing. They won. So Klay did play better defense. I have to give him credit for that. Like he had, I think, 2 or 3 steals. He stayed in front of his man tonight. It's just the shots weren't going down, and hopefully that's something.
I was saying that I thought things kind of changed from defense because he was, you know, I mean, he's been a little bit rough this series with defensively, but I thought things kind of changed when they put him on Al Horford, and it's like it sounds crazy, but it's like, you know, dude's he's like 30 plus, strong dude, like he handled himself well in the paint versus Horford. That's yeah.
What do you guys think of Jordan Poole as far as, you know, it's like we get different takes here. One, Matthew Mears says, hey, with Wiggins and Klay struggling to score, Poole is what saved us tonight. So his suspect D is worth the risk. Then you got other people in the chat who are like, hey, if you check Poole's plus minus, you'll see he has minus on the floor in this series. Greg says less Poole is better in this series. I don't know. It's kind of a weird. He's an interesting player because I'll tell you the one thing I did not like in the first half was Golden State had a number of drives. How many layups did they miss in the first half? Where Boston's length. Boston's got some great length on the floor, and they in the first half, Golden State, it was 5 layups. Danny, did you say 5? 5 layups, and a couple of them were beautiful blocks. Like, I mean, easily could have been goaltending, but I mean, the timing was just perfect. The Derek White one was absolutely, the timing could not have been more perfect. But I'd like to see guys go up a little stronger. You know, don't just put it up there. I mean, recognize that the Celtics do have some greater length than some of the teams you've played, and that it's going to be harder to finish in the trees than it is in this series than it was in the 3 series leading up. Make the adjustment. That's what I just felt like Golden State, you know, didn't drive. They left their feet early and they kind of glided to the hole and gave Boston a chance to block a few of those shots instead of pounding one extra dribble, getting the guy on your shoulder, maybe pump fake, but, you know, score that bucket and go up strong.
Yeah, that happened on Poole's, the one White blocked. Poole kind of did that little move where he doesn't jump and throws it up real quick with his right hand on the left side of the bucket. And that was the one that got blocked. Poole could have went in there, like you said, maybe a little stronger, but he's made that shot before many times.
If you got a lead, if you got some space between the guy, Danny, I'm totally with you. If you got space, go finish. But when he's climbing your back and he's a bigger guy, and in Poole's case, I think we saw that multiple times in the first half. You know, pump fake, go up strong, get a little closer, finish or jam, you know, or jam it. You know, and go real strong to the hole. What did you think of the way Poole played? Ultimately, his stat line side looked pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just gonna say his stat line was a little disingenuous. I mean, he hit the hammer. He laid the hammer that basically ended the game, and then he did well in the 4th.
Yeah, and the 3rd quarter especially. I mean, the 3rd quarter was just huge. I mean, he was just, his 3-point shooting was exemplary. 5 for 9 from 3, but he missed a lot of easy shots, which is kind of weird, I think, early on. Look, Jordan Poole proved tonight it was a relief because after game 1. I mean, that was one of the biggest question marks, right? Is like, does this guy belong in the finals? The moment looked too big for him, and for him to respond tonight the way he did by proving he does belong. I mean, poured in the 17 points, but more than Poole. I mean, look, the Poole part is raging. That shot to end the 3rd quarter from half court was huge. I mean, that pretty much clinched the game at that point. But Kevon Looney, I don't know if you've touched on him at all yet.
Not yet.
Like Kevon Looney is the best big in this series. Like I was wondering, like game 1, I was perplexed about him. I was like, does he fit in this series? Like, does he have a role in this series? He proved tonight he does. I mean, he tied for the lead with Steph and with Otto Porter Jr., a player who is going to prove that the stats don't mean everything in plus minus. Yeah, he had a 24 plus minus in just 21 minutes of play. Perfect 6 for 6 from the field. Dude, Kevon Looney it was huge. And,
he's playing
you're
great.
Great. And he's Time Lord's not doing anything to him. Like the Celtics are throwing a Tice at him, and that's not doing anything either. I mean, the Warriors tonight proved to me they're the better team. Now the Warriors just have to go out there and actually win 3 more games. This was fantastic, man.
It's going to be a battle, man. It's going to be a battle because, Boston's really good on the road, but man, their place is a cauldron, man. I mean, their place is just, all these New Englanders and Northeasterners just screaming at the top of their lungs. And it's just, you can feel their crowd, man. I mean, you can feel how verbal their crowd is. But I think that's going to work against Boston. I really do, because Golden State, it's all about focus, and in that kind of atmosphere you couldn't help but be focused. You're going to be laser focused in that atmosphere. I like Golden State to go there and take game 3 and take home court back in game 3, and I'm pretty convinced they're going to do it. How do you guys spin this one forward into game 3? What are you expecting to see Wednesday night in Boston?
Well, I first I have a question. Was taking a shot at the New Englanders, was that a family shot across the bow to your sister and brother-in-law?
That was my nephew Joe, who's a big Celtics fan. You're dead to me for this series. When the series ends, your
Uncle Larry
I'll love you again.
Yeah, the
but
uncle is
for
out.
Now, lose my number. All right,
I'm
lose
Mr.
my number
Krueger to you. I'm not Uncle Larry. I'm Mr.
exactly.
Krueger to you.
Exactly. Go straight to you don't pass go or collect $200. No, I mean seriously. At this point, there's family, but we're in the finals now. Family, family aside, family schmamly. I didn't make them move back there. I didn't tell them to move to Farmington. So you know what? That's just the way it is. You want to root for the Celtics, root for the Celtics.
Funny is
I like what some of your commenters are saying, by the way, about Draymond getting under everybody's skin. I mean, Charles Barkley once was asked semi-recently, like, who he compares Draymond to, and he said Dennis Rodman because of the head games. And the more I see Draymond play in his career, the more I understand that and believe it. I mean,
Who made that comp?
Charles Barkley. And I see it. I see it, man. Like Draymond, you cannot beat him mentally. And there were players on the Celtics roster that were like steaming. You could almost see smoke coming out of their ears because of what Draymond was saying to him. And that's a success. That means Draymond won that game. Like he won that mental battle. And it's true. It's Grant Williams. I thought he was going to swing at Draymond near the end there. I was giggling at that, man. Bravo, Draymond. Kudos.
Cy, when Adoko got that tee, did you see Draymond go walk up to him and say something? I was like, was he trying to get in Udoka's face, or what was he doing there? I wonder what he said.
Yes, he was.
I mean, Udoka, honestly, like, Kirk can get pretty mad. If I was a referee, I'm not sure there's a single coach I'd be more scared of than Udoka. You saw he called the ref a pussy after he called that tee, and the ref did nothing. That guy's intimidating. I don't know. I love the way Draymond played. I talked about, we were talking about Al Horford kind of being neutralized. I thought it was huge. The first play of the game, Horford caught it on the top of the key. It was kind of the way it's been wide open for him. Draymond got right into him. Of course the refs are going to let us play. And he just ripped them. And then, they called a jump ball, whatever, but it just kind of set a tone. And Horford was uncomfortable the entire game. Right. Only thing I'll push back, and I'm not going to be, a fan, people aren't going to be happy at me for this, but I think that Boston is still a little bit in control of this series. And I think that they're prone to lose at home. And I do think we're going to get one. But to be honest, I mean, it's coming into this series. What I said is I think that Boston's the better team, but I think that the Warriors' experience is going to get them over the hump, which would be cool because we haven't really been in that situation before where, I mean, honestly, this was the first night where I ever was like, oh my God, are we going to get like a really beneficial whistle?
Hey, I disagree with they're a better team. Did you see Did you see garbage time? Our stiffs are way better than their stiffs.
Well, but was the East better than the West this year? I would say yes. No.
Why would you say yes when the best team in the East was would have been the 4th seed in the West?
Let's talk about it then. Let's talk about it for a second. Who had the tougher route to the finals? The Celtics beat Brooklyn with KD, then they beat last year's Milwaukee team, and then they beat Miami. Warriors beat Denver without Murray, Memphis without Morant, and Dallas without Tim Hardaway. To me, I mean, I don't know.
Boston
I think the Warriors had the easier path to the finals, and I think East, the Warriors have home court, but isn't that's just you know, I mean, I don't look at Golden State as the better team here. I think
I know, but what do you brush up? You say that you're like, Warriors have home court. Why do you add a but to that? The home court means they had a better regular season.
Yeah, but
to play the West teams more.
They played the West. I mean, you know, it's everybody talks about the cyclical nature of the thing, and it is. It's cyclical. For a while, it favored the West, then now it favors the East a little bit.
All right. Well, Larry, you are turning your tune a lot, because at the beginning of the playoffs, you thought Phoenix was the best team in the playoffs, and they didn't even make it out of the second round.
That's true. And I like Denver to beat Golden State, but you still didn't counter what I just said, which is Boston beat Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Miami.
Well,
the Warriors beat
counter
Denver, Memphis, and Dallas.
I think
Boston played a tougher road to get here.
I will say that the Nets were not a tough opponent, because outside of Durant and Kyrie, who did they have to really give you scoring? They had no defense whatsoever.
But for a first round opponent.
Yeah, for first round opponent, it was tough. But again, still, like the Nets have
were most of the year the favorite to win it all.
Yeah, but now the bookies place those odds on how the people feel, not on reality. Like, the Nets have a horrible coaching system. They're not a deep team. Like, all they have is Kevin Durant and a Kyrie Irving who's mentally never checked in. And who else do they have? I mean, that's a thin team that's overrated because of Durant.
Who did Denver have? They had Jokic.
And Will Barton and those folks, but Denver.
Will Barton.
Again, Jokic was the MVP. You picked Denver to beat the Warriors. Now you're diminishing them.
I did, because I thought Golden State was gonna. I saw Golden State struggle down the stretch, and I was not buying into Golden State. But as far as now that we can look back on the now we're in the finals. Now we've got the advantage of being able to look back. I think definitely Golden State played an easier path to get here than the
Bucks were missing their second best player. I mean, you can't ignore that. I mean, Chris Middleton they would have beaten the Celtics. I mean, if Chris Middleton was in there, that's why he won 7 games. And they didn't have PJ Tucker, who was an important piece for him last year, and they replaced him with Serge Ibaka, who got hurt, or I don't know why he didn't play. I think he was hurt. And then the Miami Heat. I mean, again, that's the number 1 seed in the East. That was a team that dominated the rest of the East, and they would have been the 4th seed in the Western Conference. Like, the East was just
here would be my counter. Here would be my counter. At different points in the year, people thought Milwaukee would win the title, Brooklyn would win the title, Miami would win the title. At no point, at any point in this year, did anybody ever think Denver would win the title, Memphis would win the title, or Dallas would win the title?
Well, it depends on who you ask and when.
I rest my case.
I beg to differ. Agree to disagree.
Okay. All right. I don't want to fight with my guests here. I don't want to fight.
Either way, we could explain it this way. Either way, there's the rest of the rest thing. You know what? With the Warriors went through this for a very long time, where it sucked, where we had to go through the super tough West, and LeBron got the cupcakes, throughout the East. But it did kind of seem like going into Game 1, like, the Celtics were just, they were in a bloodbath for their life for the past 2 rounds. And I kind of felt that. Like, they kind of came in playing like that. Versus the Warriors, like, you know what? They're playing with their food a little bit versus Memphis. And then versus Dallas, I mean, they freaking showed that they showed I was wrong. I thought that would go 6. And they basically said, this is not a team. This is Luka Doncic and a bunch of randos. So I think to that, obviously the Warriors have the finals experience, but also, it means something that the Celtics were tested and they were down to, all that kind of stuff.
What did you guys think of that, by the way? What do you guys think of that? I mean, Golden State's got 123 games of finals experience. The Celtics have none.
Yeah.
And Celtics won Game 1. How much does and it's funny, I've heard it argued both ways. Experience means a lot. Then other people say, you know what, experience doesn't mean a lot because you know what, there's an advantage to not knowing. To just play, not be burdened by any of it, and you just play, and you're just kind of blind to all of it. Well, I mean, what do you think? Does experience matter? Is experience a non-factor?
I think it does because I would say as the series goes along and gets deeper, the more experience is going to come into play because the Warriors have been in a game 6, a game 7. They lost game 7. They know what it's like. And I think the best thing that happened to the Warriors, not losing game 1, but the way they lost game 1 with a 12-point lead. Had they lost a nail biter that was back and forth, I think it would have been, they might have even had a more difficult time tonight. But blowing a 12-point lead and not putting the pedal to the metal at the end of the third quarter, allowing Boston back into the game.
Yes.
We saw the same thing play out tonight. And what did they do? They pumped it up to a 23-point lead when they were up by 10 or 12. And all of a sudden they just kept pushing and pushing.
Maybe game 1, Danny, will be a gift. Maybe game 1 will be an absolute gift. Yeah.
I believe it is because you're dealing with veterans. You're dealing with guys that hate to lose.
My problem with that is that if we flipped the situation, let's say we were on the road versus Boston and we made that giant fourth quarter comeback and then we're going into game 2, we would be like, well, I feel like we pretty much outplayed them in the first half. They got some calls. And then, you know what? We kind of let off the gas because, you know what? They need it. They were the desperate team. So I think you can make that argument as well. I really think this is a tight coin flip series. I really feel like that.
Where do you weigh in on? Let's weigh in on the experience factor. What do you think, Si?
I think Coach is spot on. I think the reason why the Warriors lost game 1 is because the urgency was not there when it needed to be the most. And you saw the urgency tonight, and you saw how this Warriors team plays when they're completely focused and engaged for 48 minutes. And you look at that Eastern Conference, man. Look, I mean, you talk about a superstar in randos. The Nets had Durant, Irving, and a bunch of randos. The Bucks had Giannis, Drew Holiday, and a bunch of randos. The Heat had maybe 4 players, and that's about as deep as it went before there was a drastic drop-off. The Grizzlies were a 10, 11-player deep team. The Grizzlies,
didn't have John Morant after game 2?
Yeah, but again, they were 20 and 2.
After game 1, right?
They were 20 and 2.
I know they were good without Morant, but he's their
Morant.
star, Si. You're talking about they didn't have this guy, they didn't have that guy. John Morant is the engine. Yeah, they are. Larry, they different?
Larry,
I hear what you're saying. You're
an intelligent man. The word star.
Look at that. I'm getting this. I'm getting patted on the head now.
I know, but Larry, the word star is just a construct in your head, man. I mean, ultimately, yeah, he's a great player, but the Grizzlies are stacked full of great players. Like Ja just happens to be the best one. The Grizzlies were the Grizzlies.
So you're saying that if we had 100 non-Warrior, non-Celtic fans, NBA fans sitting right here, a panel of people, 100 of them, and I said, who had the tougher road to the finals? You're going to say they're going to say the Warriors?
No. I say, why are you putting weight on what fans say? Like, I think most people in this world are idiots.
What would Rick Barry say?
Okay, what would Rick Barry say? What would I don't know. What would the Locked On Warrior Nation say? I mean,
they love the Warriors, obviously. They love the Warriors, obviously. My point is that the Celtics are formidable. They are a very respectable opponent. I don't think the Warriors or anyone are taking them lightly, but the Warriors are just a better team, man. And tonight they showed their color. Now, I will say this to
Warriors were favored going into game 1. Celtics were favored to win the series going into game 2. Go ahead. I'm sure Golden State will be the favorite going into game 3.
But the Celtics also got what they wanted. The Celtics got the split. That was their goal. They did not. They're like tonight.
They're playing with the house's money tonight.
Yes, they were. So the Warriors cannot be complacent with this victory either. I mean, game 3 is going to be big. But the Warriors with Gary Payne II. He is my comfy, secure blanket. Like Gary Payne II.
Snuggie. He's your snuggie.
He's my snuggie, and especially when Bielitsa is out there as well. I don't know why Kerr is so averse to giving them heavy minutes. He played GPT 25 minutes tonight. That was huge. If he continues that trend, Boston's not going to put up points. That was always my issue from day one, is whether or not the Celtics have the offense to keep up with the Warriors, especially if Gary Payne II is playing. Can we
role play for 1 second? Please. Okay,
Yeah.
we're in the press. We're in the press conferences after game one. I'll be Kerr. You be I don't know. Be yourself. Be Cyrus. All right. Yeah. Any other questions? Yeah.
I'll be Matt
you
Steinmetz. I'll be Matt
from-
Steinmetz, Larry.
Yes. No. Don't be Matt Steinmetz. Be Cyrus Saatsaz.
Okay, all right.
Be proud.
Okay.
Be proud. We're not going to a guy who picked the
right.
picked the Mavs in 5. We're going to you, Cy.
right,
Yeah. Does anybody have a question? Yeah. Locked On, the czar of Locked On. Yeah. What do you got for me?
Oh, for Steve Kerr?
Yeah, and it's like if we role played there, and if you said you were going to question Kerr, what would you say to Kerr after game one?
After game one, I would have asked
after game one. After game one, where was GP2?
Gary Payne II. And where was Nemanja
he?
Bjelica? And where was Nemanja Bjelica? The problem is Kerr is smart enough to give you generic cliche answers and give you the runaround. I've already tried that with Kerr. You cannot win that battle with him, but you can't, man. It's just he's smart. But what I would like to ask him now is what adjustments do you expect the Celtics to make? And what adjustments are you going to make? Because they're not going to come out the same way they did tonight in game 3. And I think that's going to be a tough battle. I really do.
I'm not going to tell you my adjustments right now.
Is that Kerr? Jaguayo 56 donates $5 more. He says, Krueg, do you think Clay is not quite 100%? Boston had terrible losses to the Bucks and the Heat. Celtics have not been great at home, not been a great home team. It's a series now. I think Boston is the tough. Now I mentioned this before. It's another thing we talked about, Cy. I think Boston's the best team they've played in this run. I really do. I like this Boston team. I think they're really, really good. Now we had some arguments for Toronto and for the Cavs. Rye brought up one of those Cavs teams that was really, really good, and that's fair. But I just think that this Boston team is a little bit better, but they're flawed because they don't have a point guard. And so there's nobody to kind of negate the Gary Payton.
Larry, hold on. Let me interrupt you real quick. Sorry. You think the Celtics team is better than any of the other finals opponents the Warriors have played?
I think they're the best. I think they're the best team Golden State has faced in this dynasty run, period. Top to bottom.
Wow.
I like this Boston team. I like this Boston team.
You're disrespecting LeBron James tremendously there, man. That's crazy.
I said 2017.
I don't think Boston even gets
one.
I don't think LeBron even gets that series win if it's not for the officials and Draymond Green. I mean, I don't. So well, that's a different discussion. Danny brought up Toronto, and Rye brought up which
2017 Cavs.
2017 Cavs, and I'd have to go look at the 2017.
That was a great
Cavs.
team.
I just really like this Boston team quite a bit. I like Tatum. I like Brown. I think Marcus Smart that was the most amazing thing to me is that Marcus Smart, who was so awesome in game 1 and looked so good at times leading up to, in the playoff series prior to this series, tonight was just nothing. It's like gone. It's like it's like he's like he evaporated out there. What do you make of Marcus Smart's game tonight?
He'll do better.
Yeah,
he will do better.
So don't bank on this being the norm, is what you're saying.
But game 1 was
when they made the run in game 1 as well. Like he didn't sub until 3 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Like they went on the run.
Good game.
Yeah,
he had a good game. But he was 4 for 7 from 3. But yeah, I think we'll see more of him. But again, I who was guarding him primarily? I can't remember off the top of my head. Like who had his assignment? Was it because you said Clay was guarding Horford a lot? I don't remember
initially.
Who was guarding. Yeah,
I'm trying to remember myself too because it was.
Was it
Steph?
They kept shifting. They kept switching.
Steph kept getting switched on to Tatum. Who, by the way, I think that's a good thing to talk about. Is I thought Tatum was. I mean, if you look at the box score, it kind of showed what we saw on because going into this game, I was like, I kind of hope Tatum gets it going early so that everybody doesn't get involved because that's so demoralizing when everybody's getting it going. You don't quite know who to everybody's hitting everything. Tatum had a great game from 3. He was 2 of 8 from 2. He had the lowest plus minus in the shot clock era of the NBA Finals. Nobody else was even minus 20, and he was minus 37. You guys
know what the line is, by the way, for the next game?
I'm sure. Oh, wait! Don't say it. I'll say.
Let's guess the line. I love this. Go.
Boston -1.
That's what I initially guessed too, Larry. That was my guess.
You were saying
as well.
Boston -1.
Ryan, what's your guess?
-4.5.
Coach.
Warriors.
Dan's a financial advisor. I have
Warriors
to throw that out there ahead
+1.
of time.
Warriors
plus one?
Warriors.
He said Warriors
favorite.
+1.
So you and Larry are the same. So
I'll say.
I'm-
Let me change it. I'll say
saying-
Warriors are favored by 1.
Oh, no,
favored
he's
by
saying
one.
Warriors
Okay.
-1. I'm saying
Minus
Warriors
one. Okay,
+1.
Yeah.
Ryan wins. It's the Celtics are favored by 3.5.
Interesting.
Surprised me too. I thought it'd be smaller than that. Yeah. So basically the bookies are picking the home teams for this series, and it's
So far, yeah. Here's where I see where the Warriors, with that game 1, the way they lost, you kind of poked the bear, the media. I mean, Kendrick Perkins coming out in a prison suit saying, "I've got the key. The Celtics have the key. The Warriors, throw away the key." Where's that key tonight, big boy?
Perk.
Can I say, just as a not even as a Warriors fan, but as an NBA fan that likes listening to the media, fuck Kendrick Perkins. It's like, all right, honestly, it's not anything to do with like, oh, he's such a Warriors hater, but it's like, okay, he predicts like Celtics are
reminding us we're not on the radio. Go
Yes.
ahead.
Okay, he's going to pick the Celtics. Okay, the Celtics did a good job on defense and won game 1. And then he tweets out like, oh, Celtics had them in, locked up in a body bag. Carry the hell on, like as if nobody else thought that. And then it's like Warriors offense stifles the Celtics. Carry the hell on. It's just like, what is your deal? Why do you think everyone needs to carry the hell on after everything that happened? You're just announcing. You're just like, this is what happened in the game. Carry the hell on. It has nothing to do with your takes or anything. So,
I just think the Warriors now realize more than ever that they cannot let off the pedal for 1 minute. They know that Boston is capable of going on a 40-point fourth quarter, and basically they scored 27 points in the first 6 minutes of that fourth quarter. I mean, that was an anomaly with the 3-point shot, but Boston has the ability to do that because they're young, they're athletic, they're long, they can force turnovers, and if you get that home court crowd behind you and the momentum and all that. So I look for the Warriors to come out and really lock on in game 3.
Yeah,
I was trying to say locked on.
The Celtics, as weird as it sounds, the Celtics giving the Warriors that shot in game 1 on one hand showed the Warriors they're good. On the other hand, it also made the Warriors respect them.
Yes.
And when the Warriors respect a team, it also means they're giving it their all. And when the Warriors are giving their all, they're going to beat whoever's out there. Again, Draymond said this. I've been saying this. The Warriors, when the urgency is there, when they're healthy, have never lost in the playoffs in this dynasty run, ever. So, I just don't see the Celtics being that team that's going to finally in that streak.
You said that something there. They learned to respect it. I think the Warriors respected the Celtics going in. I think after game 1, they got scared.
Yeah,
and realized
possibly.
I think they
in the first half. I thought Clay looked scared.
I think they realized, oh crap, we are really in a dogfight, and we're going to have to bring our A game with intensity every game if we're going to win this series. And I think that's a good thing for the Warriors because they tend to get lackadaisical. They did it game 1. They had a 12-14. They were up 15 at one point in game 1, and they let off the pedal. Iguodala came out and said after game 1 that you have to play smart. Yeah. Jordan Poole got a rebound in the back. They were up 14, and he had the ball stolen. I think it was Tatum, and Boston scored, and it was a 12-point lead. Had they come down and played smart and got a good shot and maybe gone up 16 or possibly 17 instead of trying to hoist shots that are contested, just work the offense, play smart, then you're just a couple of hoops away from putting the dagger in them. Because if they would have went up 18 instead of 12 going into the fourth quarter, different scenario.
And good on Kerr today because he took a timeout in the third quarter in a very similar situation where they kept trying to go for the dagger, and he called us out and was like,
it was right. And it's funny, Rye, you bring that up because it was right at the point where they nosedived in the last game. It was like, this ain't happening again. Timeout. Let's regroup. Let's talk it over. I thought that was huge. Let me throw one more at you guys. We only got a few more minutes with Cy before he bolts for the night. Andre Iguodala played in game one. I thought he played pretty well, to be honest, really well when you consider how long he's been out. But I heard people say, it was a break that they didn't have Andre Iguodala tonight, and that
I don't agree with that.
And that Iguodala kind of muddies their Kerr's rotation and makes him have some tough decisions.
No,
what's his status going forward, Cy? And what's your feeling on Iguodala's impact so far and what he's got left to contribute?
So he missed tonight's game with knee inflammation, which translates into he's an old man, and he just has all these old man things going on. I call a 38-year-old an old man. But here's the thing: Andre Iguodala is the reason why in game one Jason Tatum had 12 points. He's the reason. Like I did a ton of research a couple days ago in terms of individual matchups, one-on-one, and the amount of time players are spending defending others, what the results were from that. And Jason Tatum was largely guarded by Iguodala when he played. And Tatum, that's a reason why Tatum was passing a lot. Where Kerr messed up. And again, it was not a fine coaching performance from Kerr. I remember him smiling at the end of the third quarter in game one and thinking, like, why are you smiling in an NBA Finals game in the third quarter? They just was weird. Something was going on there. I don't know. But Iguodala just cannot be on the floor with Draymond Green. That's where he stifles the team.
Facts.
So if you play Iguodala as Draymond's
because of the two non-shooters.
Yes, it just stifles the offense too much. So you can still play Iguodala. You just have to manage the minutes better. But keep this in mind too. When Iguodala played, he played I think 12 minutes in game one. The Celtics scored 20 points when he was on the floor. 20 points. So Tatum could not score himself, but everyone else was around him. So I don't think it's a negative. I do want to throw one more thing out, by the way. I don't know if we're going to see Iguodala again this series, but we might.
You don't think
I just
so?
Don't know.
You don't think we'll see him?
We might. I don't know. I have no idea. Who knows?
And whose minutes would he take away in your mind?
Bielitsa's probably, realistically.
But 10 minutes qualifies him for a guy who played in the finals, so that's 7 out of 8 years. So
yeah, he's in there.
But there's one thing that to keep in mind this series. So before we go, that's really important, which is Robert Williams III is not healthy.
Right,
he's not healthy.
He can't put a lot of weight on that. Is it the left ankle side?
Left knee.
It's his knee.
Left knee.
He had the Wiseman.
Yeah, he did. A different type of meniscus injury, but it's a tear. It was a tear nonetheless, and he had arthroscopic surgery. He came back within a month. But there's something going on there where every day it's different. I talked to a Celtics beat reporter about it, and the deal is with Robert Williams III is every day they wake up and they have to ask him how he's doing, and that's the prognosis.
Yep.
Some days he's doing okay, some days he's not doing okay. But when he's playing the limited minutes that he's playing, when he's lacking the impact that he has on the floor, there's something going on with him. He is not himself, and that's a huge bonus for this Warriors team.
I brought that up too, Cy, and also in the I don't know if it was late third or fourth quarter when Smart went in and he fell and landed on Williams' left knee, kind of pushed that knee a little bit, and it looked like Williams wasn't going to get up for a while, and he did, and he kind of limped down, and I think that aggravates that knee, and I noticed Udoka didn't pull him out because I think
he didn't want to waste a timeout.
He didn't want to waste a timeout, and he also didn't want to see him hobble off and then make that a big thing for game 3. It could be he's not available. Who knows? He'll probably be available, but he's not 100%.
Hey, Si, I have one last question for you before you go, because this reminded me of it. So, look, I mean, we've been in the Steve Kerr era now it's been like 7 years. He does not want to change his offense. He wants to keep it going no matter what, even if it looks bad. We're not hunting. We're just running the offense. There was a clear change in the third quarter where they started just running Steph pick and rolls.
Yeah, they did.
And
he's adjusted. He's adjusted for Kevin Durant too. Like when Kevin Durant was there, you saw a lot of ISO ball, which I know Kerr probably didn't like, but he recognized that's what they had to do. Are you asking if they're going to keep doing that? I
mean, it seemed effective, man. It just did.
Yeah, look, if there's one thing I do love about Kerr is that every time I start getting frustrated with him because he gets rigid or if he's stuck in his ways, he'll surprise you and then he'll come around. It's just sometimes it's later than you want, but Yeah, I noticed that pick and roll too, because it was working. Steph was feasting on that pick and roll, and I do hope we see more of it, man, because that was working. Yes, sir.
The game was won in that third quarter. Golden State
Yes.
was plus 21 in the quarter. Their defense came of age in that third quarter. They really stepped it up. They put the clamps down, and they kind of smothered Boston. What did you see in that third quarter defensively that you felt was the key there, side? Because that's where Golden State spurted. That's where they grabbed control of this game, and maybe this series going forward. We'll have to see.
I don't know if it was anything specific. It was just they were just more aggressive. You just never saw them take the foot off the pedal. What Rick Barry was saying about game one was that he didn't think the defense failed so much as it was the offense failed, and it put too much pressure on the defense. Like in the end of the third quarter in game one and the start of the fourth quarter, you saw a lot of isolation plays. You stopped seeing the ball movement. You saw forced shots outside, players settling for shots. They had 4 turnovers that resulted in 10 points for the Celtics that really started that whole momentum. And I thought their offense tonight kept made life easy for the defense, with Jordan Poole hitting those shots. I mean, even Wiggins, he didn't have a great offensive night, but he still went 2 for 3 from beyond the arc. So when you're making your shots, it makes life easy for the defense, but they stayed engaged. I think that was the key is you didn't see them sagging on those threes like you saw in game one, and they respected the 3-point shooting. They didn't respect it in game one. I don't know why they didn't respect it, but they did tonight. And maybe it was just because they gave up on the zone. Maybe it was something like that. I didn't really see them implement the zone tonight.
No,
if I missed
we saw that in game one. Yeah, I didn't see that either.
Yeah, you didn't see the zone, and that's the downside to the zone, is the zone does create openings for an offense to score, but at the same time, it also clogs lanes, right? You don't have lanes, but you have open shots, and so tonight they stuck to the man D, and so no one had space, and that was the result. So we're stoked.
Last one I got for you, and we'll let you get on with your night. You were arguing after game one that they ought to sit Poole for Moody. Kerr obviously didn't agree. We're not seeing Moody. My point to you was not that I really disagreed as much as Moody sends me a signal like he's still in rookie early season mode, where he's such a nice kid probably that he's willing to defer. And we're beyond deferring right now. You just got to play. You just got to play.
You got to be aggressive.
The ball's swung to you and it's cycled to you, and the shot clock's hoist. You need to shoot. You need to be free. He's not free. He's kind of self-contained, and he doesn't want to take too many shots. I think that's the reason that they haven't given him more minutes. I think he's probably a guy that they've kind of got on a rookie short leash, really probably till the end of the year. Maybe Kuminga as well. But were you surprised that we didn't see more Moody tonight in game two? Because you were calling for it after game one.
What I was calling for, just to be clear, I wasn't calling to bench Poole and not play him, but what I was calling for was
give some of his minutes to Moody.
Yeah,
right?
if he struggles like that again, you shouldn't be giving him 25, 30 minutes. I did not want that, but he stepped up. I mean, all the nerves and he was turning the ball over so ridiculously easily in game one. You didn't see that tonight. He was confident. Right. He was himself, and I think that's all any of us wanted.
And I'm with you. Same thing. I was pretty much saying the same thing. That Moody, if Poole's way off like he was game one, give Moody some minutes and see what he can do. And if he's not, get him out of there. But with the emergence back of GP2, that's not as important that Moody's there, because GP2 is, he's gloved too. He's all over it. And That's what we were kind of thinking about. Moody might be able to help out because of his long arms and defense if Poole's not playing well. But with GP2 available, you really don't need Moody, as maybe not at all.
I'm just still in awe at Ryan's no sleeves. We were discussing that in the last show.
Wasn't it supposed to? Well, honestly, and you know what? Just as San Francisco guys, everybody loves to fill some time talking about the weather. But how weird is this weather? It's so humid and bizarre.
It's been humid.
My sleeves. I got yellow under there. Look at that.
Oh, look at that. We got to mute Danny. First of all, he wanted to replace Poole with Moody because of arm length. We're in the freaking finals. He's talking arm length, and now he's showing us pits. All right, that's a fun that may be kangaroo court fine time right there for Danny. I mean, that he's going to be. In fact, Dan, where's Buster? Go sit in the corner. Go sit in the corner, and we'll call you back. We'll call you back in a minute. All right. While
That's
Danny's banished to mute,
Larry. Pit stains.
sit in the corner.
Next on the next segment, pit stains.
Why don't we all ask Dan a question? Dan, what'd you think of what do you think's the key to Game 3, Dan? There you go. It's beautiful. When a man tries to talk, but he's been muted, there's nothing sweeter than that. All right.
Kudos to Steph Curry, by the way. Steph had another monster game. I mean, he is this team, dude. Everything runs through him, and like it's easy to not give him enough love just because we take him for granted sometimes. But he had a solid game, and we have to remember that this whole engine runs with Steph and Curry.
So how are you going to celebrate the victory? I mean, sativa, indica. How are you going to celebrate?
Baby? All that. Wait. I mean, dinner. Maybe a glass of wine. Chablis. I'm an indica guy, Larry. Indica,
are you a red wine or white wine guy?
Yeah,
red wine or white wine?
Red, dude. I'm all about the Pinot, man. But
yeah, I can't go white wine either.
If it's got some purple in there, dude, sign me up. I'm rolling.
Purple wine? Is the New York style sausage up still open?
Great side.
Giglio 56 donates $2 He says Warriors points in the paint 42-25, steals 15-5. Two huge numbers. So we'll let you jump, brother. Hey, we appreciate you and coming on after these things. Tell people because we're now 2 games into the NBA Finals. The next game's not till Wednesday. You're the czar of all that is Locked On Warriors. What do you got planned the next few days? Pump the show and what you're going to be doing. I'm sure that we got 300-400 people in the room during this show. I'm sure your show is going to blow up over the next few days. Tell people what you got going on and tease what you got. And of course, we'll talk to you Wednesday night. But if we tune into Locked On Warriors, what are we getting?
I like the phlegm clearing that.
Locked On Warriors.
Wait, Larry, what was that? What? Which?
On Warriors. Okay. I just got muted.
Yeah.
I get muted on my own show. It's never good.
The Hall of Famers joining me, Rick Barry
Nice.
and Kevin Dana, the voice of the Santa Cruz Warriors and sometimes Golden State Warriors. And I hope to get Tim Roy on Tuesday. I've been pestering him. I haven't heard back. I'm going to start bugging him big time because Tim, if you're watching the Krueg show, call me back, please, or text message back. I want you on Tuesday's show. And then Brian Witt is coming on Wednesday. He's a brilliant.
Who is?
Brian Witt. He created the Splash
Okay.
Brothers monitor.
Yeah.
Like the whole term Splash Brothers started with him. He used to work for the Warriors, writing for their website, and then with NBC Sports Bay Area. So he comes on Wednesday. But Hall of Famer Rick Barry and Kevin Dana tomorrow. And dude, I'm a little Wednesday's gonna be tough. Like I do not feel great about Wednesday.
I feel great about Wednesday. I feel great about Wednesday.
Either way. Like it's gonna be close, I think. But if the Warriors win that one, I'm gonna be feeling damn good. I don't know about you guys, but
if the Warriors go up 2-1, I think you're gonna see the national narrative switch from this Celtics team to Steph Curry and Warriors.
Though I almost want them to lose just so we can win Game 4.
He wants them to lose Game 3.
If you take away the fourth quarter of Game 1, the Warriors have dominated this series. I mean, that is something to keep in mind here. Like, they might not have outscored them every quarter, but the Warriors have really been in control of this series. It's only 2 games, but I really do believe they're the better team. Like they've shown that. They had just a horrible collapse in the fourth quarter of Game 1. You take that out, man, and this has been all Warriors. And so let's just hope they keep the foot on the gas and bring it home. I want to see Larry O'Brien back in the Bay Area, man. That trophy belongs here.
Absolutely.
That's right. That's right.
What's that Twitter handle again? Is that lion, dog face, pony soldier? What did it say?
Look at Danny doing material. He's doing material.
Right. Yeah.
He's got to be muted. He's got to be muted. It's not a full Krueg show if Dan Coccimiglio's not muted 3 or 4 times. I mean, I can mute him for just his comments in the private chat. I mean, that alone.
Larry, do you have a Jim Barnett's number? Because if you do, I will call him. I have no idea how to get a hold of the man. I would love him.
Let me see.
to come on Locked On
JB.
Warriors.
It's putting Larry in a rough spot on live.
Oh,
right.
yeah.
We're going to take a break real quick. Just 1 second.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam. Oh, they're calling it off.
Oh, that is awesome. That just makes my night. Can I hear that one more time? I mean, for those of you who are hearing this is the future of NBA basketball broadcast. Here we go.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam. Oh, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
Awesome every single time. Sai, you're the man.
You are, man. You guys are. Thank you.
We're loving having you on the show, and
Love being here.
We'll catch
Love
up.
you guys.
We'll catch up Wednesday, and you go lock it down for the next couple days. And
Larry, look at the
if I can find
comments.
JB's number, I'll shoot it your way.
Please do.
What's
Look
that?
at Carl Kelsick. That's our old buddy, dude, at KNBR.
That's right. I love Carl Kelsick.
Oh,
Carl, you're out there, bro.
Sai. Before you go,
Carl's the man. Love
you
Carl.
know what?
He is.
I haven't played this yet, so it might not play that well as a drop. But I think I told you I was watching Con Air in preparation of the new Nick Cage movie, and the main guy is called Cyrus the Virus, and there's a scene where the guy's pleading with him for his life, and he says, "Sai." And we'll let you see what happens next.
Cyrus, help me! Please. Sai. Anara.
Sai!
I forgot all about that, man. That's brilliant. Brilliant.
All right,
Good stuff, man.
Sai.
Thanks, Brian. Thank you. That was awesome,
People are mentioning Jim Barnett. Sai is right. What somebody else had one.
Oh, what? I don't know. But thanks, Alex. Thank you. I don't know
Well,
you.
Alex Breitler says, "Love me some Jim Barnett." So
I
if
would
you
love
can get
him too.
JB,
Yeah,
I don't have JB's number in my phone, but I do know. I know some people who might be able to hook you up. I'm
Yeah,
surprised
if
you
you
don't
can
have
help
it.
me, I'll get Jim Barnett
JB
on.
is
I will-
awesome. Are you kidding me? He's
Yeah,
the best.
Oh, yeah,
He's the best.
Agreed.
Sai, great stuff, man. We'll talk to you.
Thanks, you guys. All right.
Good night.
Saatsaz, we kick him back to the green room and stay away from those veggies. All those. Don't eat the. Oh, look at that. He's going for the chicken wings. I knew it. I knew it. You better not eat all those chicken wings. All right, we got to get back to the green room. Andrew Cassidy says Mr. Cassidy is back.
Wait,
All right.
should we hear from
Why don't
Mr.
we do this? We want to hear from Steve Coccimiglio. We want to hear from some of you. We want to take a couple video calls. We want to take a couple audio calls. We want to hear what Kalena had to say, right? So why don't we do that? Andrew Cassidy, why don't we put Rye, why don't you do this? Let's put the number out there for people if people want to call in. We'll take a couple phone calls. We'll keep reading some of the chats. We'll keep reacting to this thing. We'll get into some Giant talk later on as well. Giants 500 road trip. They got to win today. So Donovan Walton with the granny. We'll get into that later on. But if we do have an ability through this to take some phone calls, and let's do it. There's the number right there, 510-823-0534. 510-823-0534. We definitely want to hear from Andrew Cassidy because I want to hear what Kalena had to say. And we definitely want to hear from some of you and who's in control of this series. I think these are all kind of open-ended questions, don't you guys think? I mean, I think you can make an argument. I think it's interesting that Sai pushed back so hard on the East not being better than the West. I think, to me, it's like a no-brainer. I think the East was way better than the West.
What do you think, Mr. Cassidy?
Mr. Cassidy is back. How we doing?
Andrew, what's going on? How was Kalena? How was the game?
Thanks for having me back. I actually, my mom's a sweetheart. I was actually in the suite, and I sat next to Kalena, and we just kind of broke down the game together.
Well, give us your takeaways, and if you want to mix in one or two of his, you can do that as well. Go ahead. What do you got? What did you think of the performance? They kind of pulled away in the third.
Yeah, so I'll start with Kalena. He was not very happy about Clay.
About Clay, about the way Clay Thompson was playing?
Yeah, he thinks he's playing a little bit soft and wants to be more aggressive on offense, like I said last night. And actually, Festus Ezeli was actually in the booth as well, but didn't talk to him that much. But big takeaway from the game and warm-ups, Draymond was locked in. I mean,
was he locked on Warriors?
Yeah, was he locked on or locked in?
No, locked in and warm-ups.
Oh, no, we got you. Rye's playing with you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you could see the determination on Green. I mean, somebody in the chat earlier, guys, compared Draymond to Bill Laimbeer. Laimbeer, I thought was just plain dirty. I don't know if I would make that comparison.
Yeah, but it's the same thing as the Pistons team and Rodman. It's just that you got to have that guy on the team. And, I mean, Draymond was going for blood. Honestly, I love a technical that he gets in the first half because that's what we need. That fires the team up. And, I did like that. Again, like I said last night, Otto Porter, he's got to play more minutes. The guy is just great defender.
I agree.
He's got to play more minutes. And his plus-minus this series has been maybe one of the highest. And
he was plus 24 tonight. The other two highest were Looney and Curry.
Yeah. And then I was giving Looney a little shit last night, but he definitely did have a good game. But what I told you last night, we ran the offense through Steph tonight, and then Steph would go in the paint, a little dish to Looney, a little slam dunk. I mean, that was great. But the one thing is this, I don't know what's going on with Clay. He is due, like you said earlier. I think he's going to have one of those games in the Garden, Game 3, and he's just going to pop off. Like
he's taking, what I see is that he's taking shots from all over the floor, and I totally agree. I don't know if you heard Cyrus. We asked Cyrus about this, and he said that he talked to the Hall of Famer Rick Barry, and that Rick's observation was that Clay was not getting his feet set, which totally I absolutely endorse that comment fully, because that's exactly what I'm seeing as well. When he peels off a screen and he can get those feet set and he can square those shoulders, man, that shot's down. Yeah. But it seems like tonight especially, it seemed like he kind of rushed a few shots and like his feet weren't under him. And, so to me, it's just going to be about getting up a bunch of shots and getting a little bit more comfortable and kind of working through it. I mean, and maybe trying to do a little less, focus on catch and shoot and not pound a couple dribbles and free yourself up and, or pass it to somebody and then get to a spot and let them get back to you. I'd like to see, how Steph and Draymond play that 2-man game where Steph gets bottled up. He throws it to Draymond. Draymond gives it right back to him. I'd like to see Clay try to have a little bit of rapport with Draymond or Wiggins or whomever's on the floor with him to try to do a little bit of the same thing. If Clay's got the shot and the feet are set, that's one thing. But if he doesn't, all right, pass it, get to a spot, set your feet, and be ready to catch and shoot. I think if he could focus on that would help.
That's what he was doing tonight, though. Like he was like backing down a defender and doing a fadeaway, and it's like that's not your game. And perfect point is he put up 30 steps in a quarter.
Matt Ladresh from the chat says false alarm on Omar Samhan. We were talking about what kind of bigs we could get. Yeah, Cassie.
That's the pride of St. Mary's. We're not going to have any no drive-bys on Omar Samhan.
Cassie, what do you think about this? I feel like with Clay, when Clay gets it going, he starts off, he's just coming off screens, he's hitting his threes to start off. Then he catches a heater. When he catches a heater, he can start being off balance and shooting those crazy shots, and that's awesome. But it almost seems like he's forcing it to where he's taking the shots as if he's, 4 or 5 shots into a heat check. That is the shot that he's taking right now. And it's just like, bruh.
if he's on the 3-point line, catch and shoot, he's hotter than Guy Fieri. Like,
and man, is that guy hot.
GB Vowel says Clay's dribbling a lot. I would agree with that. He seems like he's dribbling a lot,
like that,
especially for him.
when I'm just, yeah. And then I don't. Again, you know what I'll actually get credit for, Dan? You were really going on the Bielitsa hype last night, and he had a fantastic game. You were saying that last night. You're like, put in Bielitsa, and he had a great game. Very efficient. I think his plus-minus was around 12.
You know what? He's got that white boy game where his whole life, he's been, any average center is Robert Williams to him. So he's used to having to get to the other side of the rim to use the rim to protect on his layup so he doesn't get swatted.
Also, I think one thing that's pretty clear watching Bielitsa, and Grant Napier made this point when we did the live stream with him earlier in the week, was just that Bielitsa's played some big time ball. He's played a lot of competitive ball in Europe. So, he's not going to, the one thing that was really clear tonight is that for a guy who hasn't played a lot of minutes, I mean, think about this. He really has not played a lot of minutes. How many minutes did Bielitsa play in the last two in the playoff lead up? Right, look it up. Look how many minutes Bielitsa played in the 3 series. For a guy who didn't play consistent minutes, this guy plays under control with a lot of poise. In a high pressure situation. And let's be honest here. Golden State loses this game tonight. They are in serious trouble. All right. And yet he got minutes tonight, but man, he, head fakes, ball fakes, taking care of the basketball. I think that's the thing that makes me feel best about Golden State. They're taking care of the ball, and Bielitsa came in off the bench, and I loved his actions. I loved the way he took care of the basketball. To me, he that shows me a certain pedigree. That I feel totally comfortable doling out more minutes to Bielitsa going forward in this series after watching him tonight.
And Dan, I give you credit. Last night we were like, should we go Bielitsa? And everyone gave you shit, but. We're saying Kuminga go in, and Dan just hit it right on the head. I think he had a way better game than Kuminga would have had.
Kuminga would have just allowed
Bielitsa, he spreads the floor. He's playing a lot better defense. He knows he has to play better defense to get minutes.
What kind of shit was Danny getting? Because I had already moved on to the Honolulu ESPN interview that I was doing last night when most of this shit was rolling down towards Danny. How much crap did Danny get for standing up for Bielitsa yesterday? Do you guys remember? Anybody?
We gave him a good amount of lip, but he was right. He's an old school Warriors fan, and you know what? He was right. So,
Dan, you know what? You're unmuted.
Seriously,
I'm out of the.
You're out of the penalty box.
I'm out of the box, huh?
Yeah.
Thanks. Who's our guy? Cassidy,
Andrew
right?
Cassidy.
Andrew
Cassidy.
Yeah, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, thanks for getting me out of the penalty box, man. Larry's been throwing me in all night. He's been checking me into the boards, and I'm getting the penalties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
GB Vowel guys says Bielitsa at least can knock down an open 3. Iggy with an open 3 was passing back into a double team. I just thought Bielitsa played with a ton of poise. I mean, there were several times where, guys were trying to jump his passes and, he'd make a ball fake and he read that they were jumping the pass. So what he does is he plays under control in a high pressure situation. And if I'm Kerr, I'm making note of that. And I'm not hesitating to bring him back later in this series.
He doesn't make any bad mistakes, which is huge. And you know what happened last night is Iggy had a good game last night, but he had some brutal turnovers at the end.
You're talking about game one. Game one.
Yeah. How about that one where they came right out of the timeout and he literally flinged it up in the air as high as he could?
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah.
He got caught in the air. He left his feet and had nowhere to go. He had to get rid of the ball.
Yeah.
Andrew, you got one more for us before we say goodbye? We're going to open up the line for the great Steve Coccimiglio to join us.
Of course. I do have one more.
Yeah, go for it.
So, Grant Williams, if you remember the last series, he shot like 14 threes in one game.
Yeah.
A lot of the corners.
He made like 7 or 8 of them too.
Yeah,
He was a scorer for the Vols. I'll tell you, when I watched him in college, he was a scorer, and they had a lot of talent on that team that he was on.
But do you remember last series? He hit like 9 threes in the game, and he only shot once tonight in 14 minutes.
Yeah, and he made it. It's just not. I think it's one of those things where it's not the series for him because you know what? He can't guard Curry, and it's just, I mean, what is he going to be, their small ball 4? I mean, it's just not.
He didn't get a lot done. I mean, how about this? Not only did he not score, he only grabbed 1 rebound.
And he got just truck sticked by Draymond, which is pretty dope.
Well, yeah, one more. Thanks for having me on, guys. But I think Otto Porter has got to at least play 23 minutes a game, in my opinion.
He played 15 tonight. He had 3 boards. He took 1 shot. He made it. It was a 3. He was plus 24 in his minutes on the floor. Andrew, have a great night. Maybe we'll talk to you in the post-game Wednesday night.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Have a good night.
Later, guys.
There you go. Andrew Cassidy joining in. Steve Coccimiglio, why don't you, this would be a good time to dial up Steve, and we'll get his breakdown on it. I'd like to hear what Steve has to say. Steve is a former Pac-12 a former coach at DVC and a former official, right? Didn't he do some officiating, Danny?
No, that was me. I did.
Oh, you're the official.
Yeah.
He was the coach. The coach. There we go. Somebody get the door. My guess is it's Steve Coccimiglio. He's been hanging out outside. Somebody get him something warm to drink and a jacket. Steve, how are you?
I'm doing great. I was enjoying watching you guys along with Cyrus, so that was great.
Well, we're glad to have you and your expertise. You coach basketball at the collegiate level, at least the junior college level, and have a keen eye for the adjustments that get made from game to game. What did you see as Kerr and his coaching staff's adjustment from game 1 to game 2? And give us your review of the game.
Well, a couple of things. First, Larry, you're correct in that Boston had a much more difficult road to the finals than the Warriors did.
Much more difficult. I don't even know why Cy was debating that with me.
But look at the players they had to go against. And then you're also correct. And then I think Boston is, of all the finals teams they've gone against, Boston creates the greater challenge than any of those other teams. So, Larry, you're right.
And why do you feel that way, Steve? Why? Because I agree with you. Obviously, I made the statement, but why do you agree with me? Other than the fact that I've got my finger on the mute button. I've muted Danny. I've muted Danny like 3 times in the show, and it's not personal. It's all business. It's just business.
It's becoming a really good stick. I like it. Okay.
How many times in life did you or your parents say, "You know what, Steve? Let's mute Danny for the rest of dinner"?
Yeah, well, my brother and I did that for over a period of years. But Dan is really knowledgeable. He loves.
Oh, he is. He is.
But listen. I think Boston is their organization. Not only the players they have, but remember, Brad Stevens is their now president, general manager.
Yeah.
And when he stepped away from the bench, he still has his fingerprint on this franchise, and he is one of the smartest basketball people at the college level, or he's proving in the NBA. They don't have a true point guard, but they have enough players. And with Jaylen Brown and Smart and Tatum, they can handle the ball. I don't think. Pritchard comes in for a time, but basically they have depth, they have roles, they're well coached, they have a good system, and I think that the young coach is doing a great job. He trained well under Popovich. He trained well under Brad Stevens. It is a solid franchise, And they played Cleveland so many times, and Cleveland was very thin. They were dominating. LeBron was the dominant figure and everything. I mean, Toronto was a good team, but I just feel like Boston's the best team that they've had, especially when they don't have Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant was a huge talent, and he still is. But when he was in his prime, when the Warriors were winning those 2 back-to-back, he was unstoppable. And with Steph, it was almost unfair. So Boston creates that great challenge. Larry, you said after the loss to Dallas, just put the ball in Steph's hands. And that's really what they decided to do. They played much better defense. They did a better job containing dribble penetration with Jaylen Brown, even though he still had a good game. And Tatum had a good game. But offensively, they went a lot to the pick and roll. They had it in Steph's hands. And Curry puts a lot of pressure because once he splits the double team, it's a 3-on-2 break in a way because people have to help out. And now he can, kick it to Looney, he can kick it at different people. So having the ball in Curry's hands, and he will be he's going to be the straw that stirs this thing. I'm just shooting off the top of my head. I have concerns with Draymond's, antics and behavior. He pushed it tonight, and
easily could have been kicked out of the game. Easily.
Yeah, and I mean, look, when they called the foul on the young player,
Grant Williams,
when Draymond ran him over from behind.
Yeah, I mean that was a call. Draymond was kind of popping off, and so they give him a call, but there was no foul on that play on that defense.
No. Yeah. If anything, it had to be on Draymond.
That's correct. When he had the interaction with Jaylen Brown on the 3, I don't think Draymond Green fouled him. I think Brown
didn't.
Kicked his leg out.
I agree.
His leg out, and there was no foul. Green is a good player, but he also then, put his legs on top of Green in an awkward way. He didn't try to get off of him or respect him in any way. He just left his legs on him, and then he was confrontational with him. And I definitely think that people are saying the Celtics got bothered, intimidated by Draymond, but I don't believe that. They may have gotten irritated in a way, but once again, Brad Stevens has prepped those guys on how to deal with Draymond Green, and they handled him fine in the first game. And in this game, Draymond played better, and the team played better, so it was not as much. But and then Ryan made the point about the return. This was when they were playing Dallas. He talked about Peyton returning and that they'd be able to pressure more. And Ryan, you remember saying that, and that happened tonight. That when Peyton played and there were more players coming off the bench, they forced a lot of turnovers because, as Ryan pointed out, that before the series, that Boston does not handle the ball well, and they turned it over, and it led to a lot of points for the Warriors. So I think that Gary Payton will be a factor going forward. I think he's a necessary factor. You talked about Iguodala. What minutes would he? I think that Payton takes Iguodala's minutes. I think Porter is, probably younger and in better physical condition. I think Iguodala is an important part of the team. He's almost like part of the coaching staff. He's a peer that can be a leader. He's important to them. That's why they have him there. But as far as playing minutes, Porter, Payton, Bielitsa, they fill that gap fine. It looks like Clay is rushing things. He's forcing plays. I thought that Poole played a lot better and settled down. He was just too hyped up in the first game. Tried to do too much, turned it over, took bad shots, wasn't a smart defender. And I think he just settled down. So I feel like, the Warriors have learned from their mistakes, but I think it's going to be a great series. The entire series is like a living organism, and it changes, it evolves, and game to game it changes. And, injuries can take a place. Their big guy and his knee,
Robert Williams. Yeah,
it really could. But I took some notes, just watching the game tonight, and I thought that the refs really let them play tonight. Curry got fouled, a lot of things. But, Thompson fouled the guy in the lane in the first half that led to a fast break, and they didn't call it. So I really feel like, the officiating, usually when it gets to the finals, they let them play. But
Steve, let me ask you let me ask you one question with your experience as a coach. Boston, I mean, if you look at the numbers since the beginning of March coming into tonight, Celtics were 15-4 straight up and 17-2 against the number on the road. And I'm just kind of wondering if it becomes kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like you need to win to be confident, but then you pile up all these wins on the road and maybe you're more confident. And then, head-to-head as well. Coming into tonight, they were 7-1 in the last 8 games straight up against Golden State. So they've had Golden State's number head-to-head, but more importantly, they've had this incredible run on the road. Now the series shifts back to Boston. I kind of think that Boston, as the inexperienced team, people talk about, the experience didn't mean anything after Boston won game 1 and they had no experience and Golden State had all of it. But I think it's going to show itself in this next game. I think the Boston lack of experience, it will show itself in game 3. I like the Warriors to go back there and win. And I think there's a burden that the Celtics carry. They know that they're kicking ass on the road, and they're struggling. They're basically almost 500 recently at home. As a coach, I mean, did you ever make sense of any of those things, or is there anything that you can point to why teams do well on the road and not at home?
Well, not. I don't think I could really talk about it from a professional team because I didn't coach at that level. But what I would look at is their team and where they're peaking. I mean, early in the season, they were talking about, Tatum and Brown not getting along. They were talking about trading one of them, the whole deal. They were under 500, but since January, they ended up having the best record in the NBA. So I think it's more about, about game to game, sometimes it's about officiating, and a lot of times it's about making shots. But the little things still matter in the game, whether it's high school or college or the pros. It still comes down to fundamentals. And the Warriors in the first half, their closeouts were terrible. I mean, their closeouts where they're closing the gap on a shooter. There was a lot of run by, a lot of flybys, a lot of poor balance. And I'm sure that they straightened that out because they played much better defense in the second half and they stopped penetration.
Yeah, that was a huge key. That was a huge key for sure.
No doubt. And so fundamentally, they, did a lot better job. And then I also think that, Steph has to be disciplined within himself. He had that one pass that he got a rebound and he threw a long pass that was picked off.
To Clay and it got picked.
Right. I mean, I think, Steph sometimes, because he is such a free-flowing, great player, feel, shooting, everything, change the direction, change speed, no-look passes, that he has to be disciplined because the Warriors are driven by him. And if he's turning it over, they have a hard time against good, solid defensive teams. So, Steph is their leader. Green is obviously an emotional leader, and I'm hopeful, for being the fact that I'm pulling for the Warriors, that Draymond Green, keeps his emotions under control and doesn't put himself in jeopardy. Because, when you act like that, and the old saying is, when you talk smack, you're going to get smacked. And it's better to be, humble and low key and have respect and sportsmanship for the other team. Because a lot of times you put yourself in extra pressure, you motivate opponents in the wrong way, and there's really nothing to be gained by acting out. I think that's a weakness in Green, that maybe people say, okay, he acts that way, so he plays hard. That's not necessary. I've always felt that It's been a double-edged sword. I've watched him get thrown out of games. I've watched him get technicals when he's out of control. And I am absolutely positive that the Warriors organization, it's an issue for them. And so I hope the rest of the way that he, controls himself and just shows more respect for his opponents. Because you can beat him by beating him with your play. And that's the way to do it. That's how
I'll say this. He's always got a dialogue going with the official, and the officials seem like they give him a pretty wide berth. Like he's held in high regard by them. He's allowed to get to levels that I don't think other people are granted that same luxury. I think he's got a reputation, and his reputation precedes him, but he's also such a genius player. And I think the officials know that they're so hesitant, especially in high profile situation like this, to take any all-star caliber player off the floor in the finals. I mean, they really know that they're going to get criticized if they do that thing. So they try to stay away from it, and he gets a wide berth. Some people, I'm sure, if you're a Celtics fan, you're like, what does this guy need to do to get ejected? Because he seems like he's got such a wide berth. I got one more before we send it back to Danny and Rye. I'm sure they got a bunch of comments that they'd like to throw your way. But if you're Kerr, how do you look at the Klay Thompson struggle, Steve? Do you sit there and say, you know what, we have to get Klay going and make that on your to-do list in the first quarter of Game 3 in Boston, or do you have more of a loose feel on it and just say, you know what, let's not force it, and let's just kind of play it by ear and see how it goes? I mean, if you were in charge of jump-starting Klay Thompson's incredible game, what ideas do you have?
Well, one of the things you could do is speak to him, and I in the situation I'm seeing, I would put a dribble limit on him. I think he's over dribbling. I think he's putting himself in situations where he's taking off balance shots. The shot that he has down, his set moves, left wing, 2-3 dribble to the baseline, fadeaway jump shot, that looks solid. But a lot of his other shots are kind of runners, or he's not on balance, and he's shooting it too early. And really, the ball should be in Curry's hands, because Curry has the ability to dribble all over the place and make things happen. Steph, he's got to be the one that has it in his hands. And even for that respect, probably Poole's even better at putting it down. Maybe possibly Peyton will get a chance. But I think that I would tell Klay to let the game come to him more and focus more defensively, focus more on rebounding, run the court, spot up. He's best at spotting up. And then if they close on him, 1-2 dribble pull up. But once he starts dribbling 4, 5, 6 times, it almost looks like he's trying to force a play. I think that they probably, I'm sure that Kerr's very capable of telling him that.
Celts Chronicles weighs in with set screens for Klay to catch and shoot. I like that idea. I totally agree with the over dribbling, because if you really think about Klay Thompson, he's kind of he's a dribbling minimalist. He's in his greatest games, he's barely dribbling at all. And I love what I've seen from Curry and Green, where they play this 2-man game in the half court, where Steph can dribble all over the place, and if he gets into a dead end, he kicks it to Green, and Green's not looking to swing it. Green's looking to just throw it right back to Steph and let him hoist. Well, I think they could, I'd like to see a little bit of the Green Klay 2-man game. And I think the same way Green frees up Steph for, 3 to 5 looks a game, I think he could free up Klay for some high percentage looks as well, if they just focused on that. So that'll be something I would try to do, because what I notice is that when Klay tries to move a little bit laterally to free himself up on the dribble, that his mechanics, and as you said, I agree with you. I think he shoots it a little early. He shoots it a little early, and then when you do shoot it a little early, you're way off. And you can tell. I mean, it's not like these shots are almost going. They're clunker. They're clunkers. I mean, they're short. They're short. They're off. They're short and off. So none of these look really like the Klay Thompson that we're used to seeing. So I'd like to see him. I like the dribble restriction. At least if a shot is going to follow. I'd like him to rather throw it to a playmaker, get to your spot, catch and shoot. If that's not your spot, or they defend it, move, kick the ball out, get to your new spot, and then get ready to catch and shoot again.
I think Steve makes a good point with Curry dribbling and being able to drive and then kick out. Remember in game 1, he was driving. Klay was in the corner. He threw it over to Klay. Steph just turned around and ran back on defense. Didn't even look. Klay hit the 3 with no dribble. It was just that, they've had that rhythm, Klay and Steph feeding off each other. And it appears to me that Klay is trying to do too much by trying to create his own shot, and that's not his game.
Let's the flip side of this is this. So we talked about this after they lost to Dallas, and we even talked about Poole being a more effective player. But then you turn around in game 5, Thompson would look like the old Thompson. So, part of the Warriors are looking at, well, maybe we can after game 5 against Dallas, where he had an outstanding game. It's the best he's looked but we're not seeing that consistently. And I think with Poole tonight, finding a rhythm, making better decisions, I think that Poole creates more of a threat off the dribble. And if you've got Poole and you've got Curry who can break people down off the dribble, I like Thompson more, like the guy said, run him off screens, spot him up. Look, they've got to extend the defense and guard him. He's going to extend the defense and create driving lanes when he's on the court.
Steve, a couple more minutes with Steve before we say goodbye to Steve. What's the adjustment that you think Ime Udoka is going to try to make for the Celtics going into game 3? He's got a few days here to kind of really watch this film and break it down. I'm sure he's going to be looking for more from Marcus Smart, more from Al Horford. I know, they need more offensively from those two guys, but do you see an obvious adjustment? I mean, from game 1 to game 2, we saw the introduction of Gary Payton. Is there a counter to that? What do you see Udoka trying to do between game 2 and 3?
I'm just thinking about what I would do.
Yeah, what would you do?
I would blitz. I would get the ball out of Curry's hands. But the problem is that they're running the big guy out. So, Williams or some of these other guys cannot double team Curry as effectively. He splits the double team. And that's the problem you take. But if you're going to gamble and do something, you attack Curry on the on-ball screens, you blitz him with the double, you make him give it up, and you make other people beat you. And the problem you have is that might be Poole. That could be Wiggins. But that's the pressure that Curry puts on you. But if you allow Curry to just come off screens or isolate guys one-on-one, Curry's the best player right now in this series. And I would. If I'm going to get beat, I'm going to get beat by somebody other than Steph Curry. That's the adjustment I would make.
I think that's smart. And it's funny, Steve. I was making fun of ESPN at the beginning of the series because I'm watching this ESPN roundtable, a couple games before game 1 of the finals, and they're talking about, Steph's had all these clunkers in the finals. So, as being a Warrior fan that I am, I'm trying to picture it and think about it, and I'm like, I don't remember that. So I went and looked it up. Steph had averaged 27 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists in his 5 trips to the finals. It's funny how we go from, a fair criticism, not even a criticism, a fair point, which is Steph's never won a finals MVP, and he's got that still on his list of things to do. Okay, so there's that. But there's a big difference between he doesn't have a finals MVP on his resume and he's been bad in the finals. You can't average 27, 6, and 6. I looked it up. There's only 8 players in the history of the NBA who have ever averaged 27, 6, and 6 in the regular season. And Steph is one of those 8 guys.
Oh, in
he averages
2015, I re-looked it up. He had 3 fourth quarters in that 2015 finals. He had 3. This was as of what year was that? 2015, the first year when they won the title. He had 3 fourth quarters that, as of 2015, they were 3 of the top 10 scoring fourth quarters of the past 10 years.
So what are we talking about? This whole idea that he's been some colossal finals disappointment is just this made up ESPN narrative to hunt for the negative thing and boost that up.
To bolster LeBron when they were going against LeBron. That's what
this guy. I mean, Steph Curry has. People would die to average 27, 6, and 6 in the preseason, let alone the NBA Finals. And he's done it over 5 NBA Finals series in different years. So, I mean, the idea that he's some finals disappointment is just a false narrative.
Yeah, absolutely. Think about this. I mean, Iguodala was named, and I don't know. To Steph, I don't think it matters. He's got championship rings. That's what matters. And he's transformed the game and on and on and on. But you take a look at Iguodala getting the MVP. Well, okay, he shot the ball well and he defended LeBron and he got that. Then comes the championships. And Durant is a freak.
Yeah.
I mean, he's an amazing player, and I think if he had stayed with the Warriors, and I don't know how that would have worked out financially or whatever. But, he could have gone down along his legacy and Steph's legacy. But think about when they had to play Toronto and Thompson was out and then Durant had torn the Achilles. You saw for a short window, because then they had to come back to Oakland to play him, right? That Steph didn't have those guys with him. And they were able to completely take Steph out of the game in that game that Toronto won the championship defensively. There was nobody else. So, Steph could do a lot, but he needs other players around him. And he can't physically, back guys in like LeBron does or just post up guys.
I mean, couldn't you say that about everybody? I mean, Jordan fell short when he went for 63 against the Celtics before he had the full cast surrounding him. So, I mean, it's a team game. I mean, it just seems like we're always hunting for the negative, and people have now centered on the fact, well, Steph hasn't won a finals MVP. There's a big difference between he hasn't won a finals MVP and he's somehow some disappointment in the finals. He's hardly been a disappointment. Steve, we appreciate your contribution, man. We love hearing your breakdown of the finals. Do you have one final thought on game 2 as we put it away, at least for a couple days, and then get ready for Wednesday night, game 3 at the former Fleet Center?
What's your prediction for the next 2 games as well in Boston?
Yeah, what do you envision?
Well, I was following an interview, and they were interviewing Clay about what happened, and he just said, we let our guard down, and they did. They let their guard down at the end of the third quarter in game 1. They let their guard down to start the first, Boston scored the first 7 points. Now it's a 5-point game, and everything had changed. And I feel like the Warriors, and like you guys have said, and like my brother said, they're smart. They learned from that loss in like game 1. That doesn't mean that they're going to dominate Boston. I think it is a knockdown, drag out 7-game series. It'll go down to the wire. It'll go down as one of the great series in the history of the NBA. I hope all the players stay healthy so that, there's no excuse for somebody, being knocked out of the series that affected the team. And I hope they're well-played games, that the players stay safe. I don't really have a prediction. I think the Warriors are up against a really good team. And I picked my prediction was the Warriors in 7. So I'll just stick with that, and I think it's going to be a great series.
Okay, and then also, wait, just before you go, just listen to how crazy this is. So this is from 2015 when everybody was talking, okay, Steph Curry didn't get the finals. I found the numbers. Okay, so in that finals in 2015, he had 17 in game 3 on 71% shooting, 17 or in the fourth quarter, 17 in game 5 on 66% shooting, and 13 in game 6 on 50% shooting. So that'd be the number 1, 2, and 15 highest scoring fourth quarters in the last 10 years of the finals as of 2015. So that's massive. And then also my big thing was that Andre in the final 2 games of the series was 6 of 21 from the free throw line. He was the although he did a great job on LeBron, obviously, and it was a big swing of the series, like he was keeping them in those games because they were hack at Andreing.
No doubt.
No
doubt.
You see, if I can make this point, and I just see this, you look at the stars of the game over time, whether it was Kobe or whether it was Michael Jordan or whether it was Shaquille O'Neal, or, we're looking over the last 30 years. And for that matter, even LeBron, these guys are almost like corporations, because they're big and they're outspoken and they're kind of self-promoting in their own, they all have been. Steph is respectful. He's humble. He's self-depreciating. He doesn't promote himself in a way that's about himself. He's the ultimate team player. I don't think he gets the same kind of respect from the officials that other players like LeBron and Kobe got. I mean, I would see them. They would let LeBron and Kobe switch pivot feet all the time, and it was crazy. They would get phantom calls, and I don't see Steph getting any of that.
Nope.
And I really don't. And I think part of it is his physical stature, and that he's not a powerful person that's self-promoting. He doesn't put a lot of pressure on the league. He doesn't put a lot of pressure on officials, and so it's almost easy for them to just to somewhat. I'm not going to say disrespect him, but they don't
fully appreciate him. They don't fully appreciate him. It's a bigger debate, Steve. It's a bigger debate because you know what it really is? It's about our culture. We're a culture that really respects power. And if your game is not built on power, regardless of sport, you're not really going to get the full respect. I kind of look at it like I'm a baseball fan. I know you guys are baseball fans as well. Ichiro Suzuki is clearly one of the best baseball players I've ever seen. And yet, if you said to baseball fans, "Hey, who's the greatest players of your lifetime?" They're going to name 50 guys before they ever say Ichiro. And why is that? Because Ichiro's game was not based on power, even though he had tremendous power. His game wasn't based on power. His game was based on contact and speed and defense and an unbelievable arm and unbelievable ability to bring the bat to the ball. And so it wasn't power-based, so he never got any real love. And the same thing with Steph. His game is not power-based. And so everybody's always trying to diminish him or minimize his accomplishments or, put him in some special category because he's not a power-based player. And that's more on us than it is has anything to do with Ichiro or Steph.
And if you look at the way the league was when Steph was winning the MVPs, the players didn't even respect him. They were disrespecting LeBron, kind of almost didn't like him. He kind of tried to start things with Steph, but you look at where Steph is today, LeBron now is flipped and totally respects Curry and would love to even play with Curry. And that's because Steph has done it the right way. He hasn't, as you said, self-promoted himself. And I think his style is winning out because he's such a humble guy, but he's backed it up with his play.
No doubt. Steve,
Let me
awesome.
add this one more last.
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Sure. Okay, this is the last thing I'm going to say. When Curry retires, he will be looked upon in history as a transformational player in the game of basketball worldwide. because because of his shooting ability. The ABA was way ahead of its time, Larry, in the 60s when, I don't know about the red, white, and blue ball, but that 3-point line, they were way ahead of the NBA. And if you look at it now and the excitement of the 3-point shot, no one, and I respect Reggie Miller. I respect Brent Berry as a great shooter. I respect Steve Kerr. You can go on and on. Paxton, all these guys. Ray Allen. Nobody comes close to what Steph has done with the 3-point shot and the range and the ability to get his shot off, how he creates separation with the step back and how quick he shoots it. He's transformed the game. And when he leaves the game, he will be a trendsetter in the history of basketball.
He's got the rarest hand-eye coordination maybe of any athlete in our lifetime. I mean, we're watching a player that gives you a feeling like if he had at age 22 said, you know what, I hate basketball, I'm going to play golf. Like, I really believe he would have been on some tour. I don't know if he would have made the PGA Tour, but he would have played professionally around the globe. And how many people do that? I mean, Hawk Harrelson or something like that. I mean, it's like very few guys, have that kind of hand-eye coordination. And you can see it with Curry. That's why he's not just a catch and shoot guy. He's just as good off the dribble. I mean, he's an absolute marksman of the highest order. And eventually he'll get his. I think he LeBron is trying desperately to work his way onto a team with Curry, but Curry's never leaving the Warriors. And Warrior fans would never allow Joe Lacob to add LeBron. So it's never going to happen, but it is interesting to think about. Steve, great contribution as always. Are you around Wednesday night in the post game for a little breakdown of Game 3?
Yeah, love to join you guys.
We'd love to have you back.
Great guys.
Steve, have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for jumping in.
Yeah, enjoy that hour and 20 minutes left, or hour and 40 minutes of your weekend.
That's right.
Don't give everyone the Sunday scares.
Mute that guy. Put that guy on mute.
I'm muting him right now. That was uncalled for. At the end of the day, Dan was he was just mean-spirited. It was mean-spirited. And we can't allow that. All right, let's do this. While Dan remains muted, let's pay the bills, and we'll come back. We'll continue our conversation. We may even switch and talk a little Giants baseball, but we'll definitely get in a little bit more straight ahead. And if you have some comments, the initial question I threw out, who's in more control of this series? Is it the Celtics who came to San Francisco and got done what they needed to get done and are now going back with home court? Or is it Golden State who, got the win that they desperately had to have in Game 2? It was a 19-point win, and it wasn't even their best effort. Who is in more control in the NBA Finals, the Warriors or the Celtics? We'll talk about that coming up. But first, a word from our sponsors. Larry Krueger here for Telmetrics. Thanks to Casey Bateman and the good people at Telmetrics. If you're an occupational therapist, if you're an orthopedic surgeon, a chiropractor, a physical therapist of any kind, Telmetrics is designed for you to use in your practice and will greatly benefit your patients. Telmetrics uses computer vision and artificial intelligence and provides a platform for outpatient rehab therapy services, both in the clinical and the telehealth environments. So using Telmetrics can improve your patient's experience and much more. So for all your sports injury needs, or if you're a physical rehabilitation specialist of any kind, make sure you use telmetrics.co, TELMETRIX.co. And thanks to Casey Bateman and all the good people at Telmetrics for being a proud sponsor of the Krueg. I'd like to thank our sponsor, Dan Coccimiglio. Dan is a buddy, and he is a phenomenal retirement planning specialist. And you can contact him today at securemoney.com or at his number, 925-628-8255. 888-628-9966. There's a lot of uncertainty in our world right now, and you want to make sure that your money is secure. That is the key. Danny's got 25 years of experience, born and raised right here in the Bay Area, and he can help you get an immediate 10% premium bonus on your principal retirement account. So give him a call, 925-628-9966. He'll make an appointment with you, and you can sit down. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of a deal. He'll consult with you and come up with a strategy to get you going to where you want to be. Once again, 925-628-9966, securemoney.com on the web. And thanks to Dan Coccimiglio and all the people at Secure Money for being proud sponsors of the Krueg Show. All right, welcome back to the Krueg Show. If you're just tuning in and this is the first time you've been with us, I'm Larry Krueger, and this is my YouTube channel, the Krueg Show. The man on my, I guess that would be my left, would be, or right, I guess, my right. This is my right. That's right. Ryan Smith, at RSSmitty13 on Twitter. He is our producer.
By the way, I know Buster's got a lot of, he's gotten a lot of camera time.
Yeah.
My dog just wandered in after I was going to the bathroom. Oh,
yeah. Let's see your dog. What's your dog's name again?
Ringo.
Ringo. Here, boy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh, look at Ringo.
He's named.
Look at Ringo.
Did you ever watch Tombstone?
Oh, you can ever watch Tombstone? Yes.
So Michael Bean, who played Ringo. I don't know what the last name was, but Ringo. He was the guy, not Doc Holliday, but the guy opposite, the heavy against him. So this is actually Michael Bean's son's dog.
Is it?
Yeah. So that's why it's Ringo.
Ringo. Yeah, I love it. And where's Buster and Faith? Danny, do you see? Is Buster and Faith anywhere nearby? Is Danny still muted? He is. Oh, that's why we can't talk to Danny. There we go.
Buster, there he is.
Where's Buster? There's Buster. There's Faith.
Sit, buddy. There you go.
Oh, look at that. I love Buster. Of course, during the Dodger postgame show, that's Sosha and Ramon Martinez.
There you go, buddy. Hey, is your dog, Brian, is that a shepherd, German shepherd?
Half German shepherd, half chow chow.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
I saw the nice shepherd ears sticking straight up there. That's cool.
And I got Penny. I got Penny in the house right now, the golden retriever. Who's
I had a Penny golden retriever.
Did you?
Yeah, that was one of my first dogs.
Well, that's one of my beefs that I've got with Willard is when we were both at KMBR, I told him, I said, yeah, I've got a dog. It's my dog's name's Penny. He's like, oh, I'm going to get a dog. Great. A couple of weeks later, he got a dog. I said, what's your dog's name? He's like, Penny. I said, you got to be freaking kidding me, Willard. And he's like, yeah, but
Dan, was the full name, Dan, was the full name Brad Penny?
No, it was a female.
Was it Rashad Penny? All right, one more word from our newest sponsors. And as my 12-year-old would say, Dad, you're nothing in the YouTube game unless you've got merch. Well, we've got merch. And thanks to Tony Casera and the good people at Casera's Italian Menswear. They are housing the Krueg Show t-shirts, and they're a proud sponsor of the show as well. The Krueg Show t-shirt, the Krueg Show podcast t-shirt is available there at their store in Dublin. Their address is 7372 San Ramon Road in Dublin, California. And go see Tony Casera and get yourself a Krueg Show t-shirt and support the show. And special thanks to our sponsor, New York Style Italian Sausage. That's right, NewYorkStyleSausage.com is their website. Phenomenal product, whether it's the breakfast sausage, the Italian mild, the Italian spicy, the chorizo. You cannot go wrong with New York Style Italian Sausage. Once again, NewYorkStyleSausage.com. Often imitated, never equaled. And they are a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show. Thanks to them as well. All right, my favorite part of the show is when we play the video from Pasquale. look at Buster. That's a great looking dog right there. Let's hear from Pasquale from New York Style Italian Sausage.
We grew up with a Sunday dinner. That means no matter how busy you were, no matter where the hell you were, you came to dinner on a Sunday night. Yeah, Sunday dinner without sausage, it's like a church without God. You know, how can you go to church if you don't believe in God? You know, and along with the sausage also became the discussions. That was discussion night. You know, it wasn't a typical family that you sit there and you're quiet and you don't talk with a mouthful. Oh no, man. Italians talk when they're eating. Italians even talk when they're sleeping. And definitely we talk with our hands. So if we can't express it through our mouth, through our lips, we express it with our hands. So, and that's what sausage is, really. It's an expression, that life is good.
And that is Pasquale from the New York Style Italian Sausage Company, a proud sponsor of the Krueg Show.
Hey, Buster, let me tell you what. Hey, having
sausage is a religion.
It's like going to church without believing in God. I tell you what, Buster, we're not going to see your sausage on this show, though. Stay back.
Oh my goodness, I love that video. I don't care what we do from now on. I don't care what improvements we make from now on. We will run Pasquale and that video from now until the day they put me in the ground.
I'll be up in the Bay Area next week, and I'm going to go see Pasquale and have some Italian sausage on. That's right.
New York style Italian sausage. It is awesome. Awesome. Get New York style Italian sausage. You can get it at Lenardi's. You can get it at Costco, at Safeway, at any supermarket in the Bay Area. In fact, if you can hold up a New York style Italian sausage, just a picture of it at any point, you can jump to the front of the line when we take phone calls later on. So there you go. Thanks to our sponsor.
I like that.
You like that? You like that? All right. Wait a second. It says Pasquale and Monster Slams are Krueg Show staples. Romo 2001. Yes, that is true. Well, can we play the Monster Slam for those who have just got a little taste of Pasquale, but have never really ever tasted the Monster Slam?
Wiggins drives, goes in for a Monster Slam. Oh, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
That was during Dan and Ryan's
game three.
Game three. In game, that was our watch party. That was the watch party. Danny started doing play-by-play, and then all of a sudden he got to his Dave Fleming, Edgar Renteria moment.
Well, Ryan was about 30, 40 seconds delayed, and so it was kind of frustrating for him. So I said, I'll just do play-by-play so you know what's going on as it happens.
I think that call, if you play it longer, I'm like, I didn't see it, but that sounded sick. All right, well,
yeah, you did, yeah.
Marcus says, LOL, that gets me every time. Yes, it gets me as well.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a Monster Slam. Oh, no, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
No way. No, how? Kelch Chronicle says, don't ever stop the Monster Slam. It will never get old. Oh my goodness. When Danny's moved on to like network television and left us for dead, we'll say, remember that guy we used to have on? Here he is. One more time, ladies and gentlemen. Monster Slam. Great stuff. All right. Let's do this. We've been going for 2 hours and 26 minutes. We still have over a couple hundred people hanging in the chat room. A lot of people want to chat about this and want to hear dialogue about this. We've been talking Warriors a lot tonight. Why don't we do this? Let's get a couple more Warrior thoughts. And then I want to get your guys' thoughts on the Giants as well. They just finished up the road trip. They beat the Marlins today in South Florida. Nice little win for the Giants. 500 road trip. Rockies are next. The Giants are off tomorrow. I think they play Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday day, and then the Dodgers roll in, I think, Friday night. And I've got
Friday night. Yep. That's going to be a big one because we got 6 p.m. game 4.
Yeah, let's do something here on the show maybe. Wednesday night, game 3. I've got the Giants tickets up for sale pretty cheap because
Warriors game. So maybe anybody who wants to really go to a Giants game and
sit in Monster Slam's ticket, you're offering your Monster Slam seats.
Yeah, if somebody who wants to really watch the Giants and miss the Warrior game, when we go to the Giants, let's think of some kind of contest for 2 tickets for Wednesday night's Giants Colorado Rockies game.
There we go. I like that. And I do have the pitching matchups. Giants are off Monday. Tuesday night, it's Antonio Sensatella against Carlos Rodon. And then Wednesday, Airman Marquez against Alex Wood. Thursday, it's Austin Gomber against Alex. Is it going to be Alex Cobb? Or is Cobb hurt? Is Cobb going to make that start?
He missed one start. I think he'll be back. It was just a lower back strain.
And then Friday, I should say, game 1, Giants Dodgers from Oracle Park. Walker Buehler, Logan Webb.
Ooh.
Rematch of the playoff game.
All right. Don't get me going on Logan Webb right now and Gabe.
Oh, I know. Danny's going to crap on Gabe. And then Saturday, Julio Urias against the ace. We'll just call him the ace, Jacob Junis.
The ace.
He is awesome. I love me some Jacob Junis. And then Sunday, it's Mitch White against Carlos Rodon. So Giants coming home, 500 road trip, they split with the Marlins today. They split on the road trip. You guys got a thought on the Giants? We've dominated this with Warrior talk, as we rightfully should. I mean, the Warriors are in the finals. The Giants are playing regular season games, but we're obviously hardcore on the Giants as well. What do you think? Do you guys have a thought on the road trip? Basically this Marlins series, for those who missed it, weird series. Thursday night, Marlins win 3-0 behind Sandy Alcantara. Friday night, Giants. Yeah, he was awesome. And then Friday night, Giants came back and played 15 runs and went 15-6 and hit 5 homers, including Crawford with the granny. And then Saturday was absolutely the frustrating game. This was the game on the road trip that the Giants should have won and didn't. Marlins won at 5-4. They came from behind on a Jesus Sanchez sac fly in the 9th. But the Giants led 4-0 in the 4th and could not add on. They could not add on. And then today, I thought we were going to see more of the same. Junis was dealing. Donovan Walton hit a grand slam in the 4th out to right, and then he had a little hips, a little skip out of the box. If you saw that was kind of cute. But Giants were up 4-0, second grand slam of the weekend. And you're thinking, okay, the Giants are going to pull away. They loaded the bags in the 5th, but they failed to score a run. They blew an opportunity there. Then Cooper hits an opposite field bomb in the 6th to make it 4-1. But Junis pitched really well. He struck out 8 over 6. He only gave up 2 hits and 2 walks. Leone pitched the 7th. Rogers pitched the 8th. Giants tacked on a run in the 8th on an Austin Slater RBI single, and then Doval finished it up. Estrada made a great stop of Soler's rocket.
Awesome.
With for the 3rd out in the 8th. But I'll tell you, my key on this series was the Giants. Jazz Chisholm went 0 for 14 in the series. And I think Chisholm is probably the Marlins' best player. And to keep him basically as a 0 contributor, that was impressive. So they pitched him tough. But man, if you're a Giants fan, you got to think, man, they could have took 3 out of 4, and instead they have to go with the split. Danny, go ahead. You were irate on Saturday. We didn't do a post game.
Yeah, so we're off Warriors now. So hold on.
Oh, look at that. He's made the switch. He's made the transition.
Made the transition. Okay.
I like the orange bill too. That's a big Saturday night hat.
This is the
Saturday when I was a kid, that was the Giants hat. It was the orange bill.
That was my favorite. Yeah, in the 70s. Yeah, late 70s. They introduced that when Jack Clark was with the club.
Ed Halicki and John the Count Montefiusco.
John the Count Montefiusco. Did I tell you my John the Count Montefiusco story? I think I might have told you.
Did you? No, I don't think so.
I was on the mound.
A restaurant on North Point and Bay.
Yeah, I was on the mound, and I was, I was 14 or 15, and I thought I was the Count. That was who I imitated when I pitched. And so the other team was talking smack from the dugout, and they were just all over me, just yelling and yelling. So I just said, okay, next guy up, beanball hunting, and I just gave him my side. I gave him my side arm, come over the shoulder like the Count, and I just fired it right
3/4.
Yeah, just fired it right at the guy's, up high near the shoulder, and just plucked
headhunted him?
I didn't go for the
Dan
head.
Coccimiglio as a kid was
I didn't-
throwing balls at people.
Not shoulder, not the head, but I plucked him, and so you don't talk smack to the coach. You just don't do that. You don't talk smack to an Italian he's on the mound. He's a hothead.
You didn't pluck him. You plunked him.
Yeah,
you plunked him.
Yeah, I drilled him.
You drilled him. All right, better than a plunk.
I drilled him with 83. I don't know what I threw back then.
Probably more like 77, but who cares? Who's counting? Nobody had a radar gun back then.
Yeah, so getting back to this Giants trip.
So what you wanted to crush Kapler because you didn't like the fact, and I didn't like it either, and I tweeted about it. He had Logan Webb. Logan Webb was working in the fifth, I should say, and he gets 2 outs in the fifth, and it's a long inning, and he's given up some loud contact, but still he had cruised through 4. So his pitch total was still low.
4, through 4.
He cruised through 4. He started getting hit in the fifth. They had a 4-run lead. He gave up a couple runs, and so he yanked him and went to Brebbia, and Brebbia gave up a key hit, and pretty soon it's 4-4.
Yeah, why I was upset is because although he did give up a couple of hits and then a couple of runs had come in, one of them was on an error on a Bart throw on a steal to second, and he threw it low, and I don't know if it was Walton couldn't come up with it, and it scooted away. The guy on third comes in. So they get 4-2, but then he got 2 outs after that, and he was settling down, and then he gets pulled after throwing 4 balls that weren't really close. He lost the batter, walked him. So
and when Kapler went out to the mound, it wasn't Jim Barr, Frank Robinson, but it was close. I mean, if anybody saw Jim Barr, Frank Robinson, Jim Barr, basically, flipped the ball to Frank Robinson back in the day, and Frank Robinson grabbed Jim Barr's arm as Barr was walking off the mound, and it was almost a brawl. This is in the mid '80s. Right. This particular one, Webb slammed the ball into Kapler's hand and walked off, and
straight
then
to the clubhouse.
And not only that, when the umpire went to check his hand, he just kept walking. Did you notice he barely even broke stride? If you go back, if you have yesterday's game on tape, the umpire goes to look at his pitching hand for sticky stuff, and Webb wasn't having it, man. He just walked right on by, and everybody in the dugout's eyes got big, and he went down the dugout stairs and clearly went into the tunnel, and it looked like he maybe was yelling something. I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
But he was clearly pissed off and hacked off that he was being yanked.
And you want that. You want that attitude from your ace. You want to see that competitive spirit. I mean, you're 1 out away. You pitched the previous game. You go into the 9th up 1, and you give up a home run, which was the 3rd home run of the game, but it was only like their 4th hit all game, and you come up empty with no decision. So now you go, you're thinking probably for all 5 days, dang, when I go out there next time, I'm going to close this deal. I'm going to get the win. So he's 1 stinking out away. You're up 4-2, and he pulls him after 87 pitches. Let him get out of it. Your bullpen's stinking tired. You've been calling up Sam Long. You've been calling up other guys just to try and give some rest to an overworked bullpen. And then you put Brebbia in the 5th, and you're forced because now you've got Brebbia in the 5th, you got Duvall in the 6th, and then you go Rogers in the
for 2 innings.
Or no,
for 2 innings.
The 7th was the left McGee. I think McGee, somebody pitched the 7th. I can't remember, but Rogers pitches the 8th and 9th because he's saving, I think maybe it was McGee for the 10th, because you want a strikeout pitcher with the man on second if it goes extras, right?
My argument was, where's the consistency? I mean, and to me, are you looking for a reason to piss off your ace? It's the 4th inning with, everybody in the ballpark knows that if he gets one more out, he can qualify for the decision either way. And to yank a guy after 4 2/3 when he's your ace. Where's the consistency? The other day, you let him go out there and pitch the 9th.
Right.
And then today he's pulling him with 2 outs in the 4th.
Yeah, I
thought it's like he's all over the place.
I didn't like it because the bullpen was already tired, and let Webb finish. If Webb would have got him out within 3 or 4 pitches, he probably can go the 6th.
Yeah.
With
I mean,
a 4-2
he is your freaking ace.
Yeah,
Remember that.
Yeah, and your
Yeah, I didn't
bullpen
like that either.
is run down. And they basically lost the game because Rogers was forced to pitch 2 innings. And if you
And I
look
don't
at
trust Rogers for 2 innings. I barely
2
trust
innings.
Rogers for 1 inning.
I know you don't like him that much, but I know, Rogers pitched fine in the 8th, and then he goes back out there in the 9th and gives up a hit, and then he hits the next batter, and then he balks. And, it's game over at that point. Nobody out, 2nd and 3rd. I just, it was just so frustrating because that was a trip they should have won 7 and lost at least 7. There's 2 games they gave up on that trip. The last game against the Phillies and that game 3 yesterday against Miami. Those were 2 wins they should have easily had. And, I don't know. It's just frustrating because they're going to be fighting.
Dan,
Every game matters. Is what you're saying.
Dan,
yeah,
you need to relax.
Oh, man.
Yeah, relax.
I'm
Dan.
still hooked. I'm still fired up over that yesterday.
You're pissed. You're
we
hacked off.
We didn't have a giant show after yesterday's game.
yeah.
I could have got it out, but you guys made me hold it in all weekend. My blood.
We knew what was
pressure's up.
coming. We did you a favor. You were gonna get the channel canceled, and you were gonna get YouTube to stop monetizing us, and you were gonna swear and ruin our relationship with Kapler and the Giants, and just.
I love
just
Gabe.
you were-
Let me just put it this way, though.
Wait a second. Randy on the cell 415 says, Dan, relax.
I do love Gabe, and I think he's a great manager. And he's
Well, I tell you right now, he doesn't love you back.
But I'm
He
telling.
can't stand you.
Yeah, but I'm just he would respect what I'm saying because
No, he wouldn't.
yeah, he knows I'm deep down. I'm right, but but no, I mean Gabe's made. Hey, every decision a coach or manager has to make in sports is you're as good as your last decision, right? I mean,
here's my thought. I'm anonymous. Rogers should never pitch the 9th ever. Seriously, nobody who throws 75 should be pitching in the 9th,
except for Luis Gonzalez.
Yeah, exactly. And
except for Luis Gonzalez, who's going to lead the
see
league in
Dodger
appearances.
game? I was watching the Dodger game last night, pulling for the Mets, and they were up 9-4. The Mets. And
I saw that Dave Roberts went to a position player in a 5-run game, and he can't do that, right?
Yeah, I guess there's some.
I didn't know that rule. Did you know that rule?
No, I didn't know it was thrown in 2020 for COVID. And I guess they haven't taken it away. But
I heard that. So for those people who don't know what we're talking about, as Danny just said, Dodgers were in a 5-run game. They're down 5, and they throw a position player out there to pitch. And there's a rule in baseball that says that the Giants have thrown a position player out there with a lead. So it must not be trailing. There has to be a 6-run margin. Is that what it is?
Yeah,
6-run margin, or you can't use a position player.
Well, you know what? How does that work?
I'll say this: the whole thing about, isn't it cute? Isn't it neat? Isn't it funny? Oh, look, everybody's laughing. I'm not laughing. I wouldn't be laughing if all of a sudden I'm watching a position player pitch. To me, it's just it's a statement that either the rosters aren't deep enough or that you're out of the game. The tickets cost a lot of money. I don't want to see some underskilled guy doing something just because you don't want to waste good people. I mean, could you imagine if you were at a restaurant and they had, they had filet mignon, but they're serving you flank because, we don't want to waste our good stuff. We got a big party coming up tomorrow. We don't want to throw you the filet mignon your way. So here, you can pay filet mignon prices, but have some tough flank steak and just like it. No, I don't want. I'm paying a lot of money. I don't want flank. I want filet mignon for these prices, and I feel the same way if I'm a season ticket holder. You know what? You're charging me an arm and a leg. I want to see, and that's fine. It's expensive entertainment. It's great entertainment, but entertain me. Don't throw position players out there. I didn't like it. I don't like that trend of, Luis Gonzalez goes 4 days a week. I don't need that. I don't want that.
Yeah, no one wants to see that. But that rule, I don't know if I like that rule because you look at Shohei Ohtani. What happens if he's playing right field and it's a close game and you want to bring him in to get one guy out? And it's why he's a position player. Is he not able to come in even though he obviously is a pitcher? Or the Giants have a guy down in single A, I think. He's drafted from San Diego State. He was their closer, and he's
Casey Schmidt.
Yeah, Casey Schmidt. I mean,
he was the closer and the third baseman.
Right. So I mean, that rule's got to be changed because you can have in a day and age where we're getting to be, position where guys play many positions.
Anonymous says, Larry, you've confused things. He says, Larry, I think what you meant to say is you don't want the busboy to cook your filet mignon when the chef is too tired. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
It's the microwave.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Hey,
I needed that.
There is somebody said, and I think it was Romo way back for the contest for the Giants tickets.
Yeah.
He said, best impersonation of my Monster Slam call. Have callers call in.
Yes.
That would be great. And then we'll judge and pick. We got to get at least 4 or 5 callers.
Let's do this. We are going to give away those tickets for what night? Wednesday night?
Wednesday night. That is against Colorado, game 3.
Bless you. All right. So why don't we do this?
But before we do this, I'm trying to pull them off.
We have to give people at least a day's advance notice, right? Because otherwise,
I mean, it's too ridiculous to do it post game Tuesday.
No, I think Tuesday night's perfect. I'll be at Niner minicamp on Tuesday. We'll do Rockies Giants post game, game 1 of the series, 6:45 start. So like roughly 9:45, 10 o'clock on Tuesday night. When we have our Giants Rockies post game, we will do the contest then. We'll do it then. Now, Danny, is that enough time? What are you going to, how does this, you're going to email the people the tickets?
Yeah. Basically, they just have to have the MLB app
everything's instantaneous. So that's perfect. So Tuesday night on the show, we'll have a, can you imitate Danny's play-by-play Monster Slam? And whoever does it the best gets your tickets.
Oh, Romo 2001 says,
parking? Is there parking or just 2 tickets?
No, just 2 tickets.
Just 2 tickets.
Just tickets to paradise. Eddie Money.
Can you post the text of the call so we can practice? Yeah, what is the...
That's what we got to practice.
You got to get it back to where Curry has the ball. Curry drives.
Okay.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives. Goes in for a monster slam.
All right, one more time.
Hey, you got to go back a little bit more because that's too easy.
Hold on. Let me pull one thing off the printer because I just printed something. I'll be right back.
Go back a little bit. I want to hear some play-by-play where they Curry walks the ball over half court.
For the drop, that's all I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives. Goes in for a monster slam. Oh, no, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
I'm writing it down, monsters. Offensive foul.
StubHub is down right now. I got my tickets up there. I'm trying to pull them off the for sale. And their darn website's down. Hopefully those tickets.
Wait, one more time.
He's going to drive to the hoop again. He kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives. Goes in for a monster slam. Oh, no, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way.
Okay. All right. I have no idea if this is like proper grammar or anything.
Hopefully we get about 10 people.
All right.
But you remember,
again, and he kicks it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam. Oh no, they're calling it an offensive foul. No way. All right,
I know you're not going to enter because you're going to be watching the Warriors game.
Exactly. We got.
This is going to have to go to a Giants fan who is not a big basketball fan.
I got to shout, although we have a Celtics fan in here, I got to shout them out because they're clearly overseas, and you just got to give love to the overseas fans. Unfortunately, I'm really bad with flags. Do you happen to know what flag that is?
Let me see. Where is that?
It is a red on top, white on the bottom. Larry, are you able to
I'm back.
identify this
What's
here
that?
flag?
I don't see a flag. Where in the comment?
No, emoji.
Where's the flag?
It's okay. It's Let's Go Celtics, and then it's a bunch
Right.
of.
But
I
it's
see
a
a
green
green
heart. It's a
leopard
shamrock.
flag. Yeah, shamrock.
What's that flag? He's from.
Where's the flag?
What? Do you not see the flag?
No, there's no flag. I'm seeing a.
Am I being
I'm seeing a
gaslit?
face. I'm seeing a heart, a shamrock,
Yeah.
a face, a flexing muscle, then
cat,
something.
A fire emoji
a cat,
from
a fire
flag.
From Idaho.
from Idaho.
That's Idaho?
Yeah.
Must
that's
be.
Idaho.
Idaho has a flag?
No, ID. ID it says. There's no flag. Where's your flag?
I see a flag. Oh, what?
No.
It's Poland.
Oh, that's
Don't see it.
Idaho.
Wait, this is bizarre, but I might have to share my screen so that you guys see it. Do you see that flag?
Where are we looking?
Where are we looking?
It's real confusing, but do you see that there flag?
Oh yeah, I do see the flag. Yes, I do. I
Red
do.
on top, white on the bottom. Okay.
Yeah.
It
So
must
I don't
be
have,
because
I
you
don't
guys
have your flag.
There is indeed a flag. Yeah, red on top, white on the bottom.
Yep.
Okay. So, they don't have. Okay.
Ask him where he's from.
Yeah.
Poland.
Poland. There you go.
Nice. Oh, Austria? Poland. All right, Poland. Patient. He's really into emojis. Frisha Supit.
Wow.
Kobe. All right. Okay. All right.
Patient,
I just,
cheater.
yeah.
Carlo P. Time for some glasses, Larry. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Flags.
So we got Tuesday night. Now hopefully I can pull the tickets off StubHub. I went to do that and their app's down. So I'll get them pulled because I got them on there for pretty cheap for that night just because I didn't think anybody's going to want to go.
So, by the way, for
Indonesia.
it says Indonesia, anonymous, and then he says not Poland. Just as far as the Krueg show this week, what we got planned. So tomorrow morning we're back with you. Grant Napier's going to stop by. We'll get Grant's thoughts.
That's a great
on-
show, everybody. If you haven't seen that show, you got.
Thank you. Yeah,
see
Grant's
Larry and
terrific.
Grant.
Grant will be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. He's out on the East Coast. So we'll talk a little. We'll get the former voice of the Sacramento Kings breakdown on game 2 of the NBA Finals tomorrow morning. And then also tomorrow we'll do a Bay Area Sports Live with the great Ryan Smith and I going back and forth talking headlines. I've got a sleeper for the NBA draft that I'm so fired up about. I just can't even tell you how fired up I am about
Not
this
that
guy.
tall kid from Canada, is it?
No, this guy played in the Big Ten. Big Ten, and he's super underrated. I mean, unbelievable. I'm so amazed by this. So we'll talk a little Bay Area Sports Live. We'll do some headlines tomorrow afternoon. And then Tuesday, I'm in Santa Clara all day. We've got Niner minicamp. So OTA. So we'll put out some videos from down in Santa Clara. And then Rockies Giants 6:45. We'll do some post game Tuesday night. I haven't checked with Ned Coletti what night he's going to join us this week, but he is going to be joining us again this week. And then Wednesday night, Wednesday at 3:00, I'll most likely join Grant Cohn on his channel for a live stream, and then big combo post game on Wednesday night. Warriors Celtics game 3. That's a 6:00 tip on Wednesday night. Rockies Giants 6:45. So we'll come on right when the Warrior game is over on Wednesday night for our combo post game, and maybe we'll have. Remember we had so much fun the other night when the Warrior game was done, but the Giant game was still going.
Oh yeah.
Remember that incredible game the other night? That was awesome. That was one of my favorites.
Is that the one they won 13-12 or something like
yes,
that?
Yes,
that
it was
awesome.
wild.
Yeah.
That was a wild one. So we'll do a little combo post game Wednesday night. Cy will be back. And then Thursday at 3:00, Kyle Posey stops by, our Niners Nation 49ers segment. And then Giants play an afternoon game. So I'm not sure exactly what the post game will be. I might have to jump in. I guess it's a 12:45 start, so maybe we'll do post game right around 4:00. Around 4:00 on Thursday, and then Friday, Giants, Warriors at Celtics. That's game 4, 6:00 tip, and then the Giants are taking on the Dodgers. at Oracle Park, 7:15 start time. So we'll do a combo post game on both Wednesday night and Friday night. And then Saturday, Dodgers Giants, and that's a 4:15 national TV game with Urias and Junis locking horns. By the way, how good is Junis? I mean,
He's just
very
leading.
good.
I mean, what do you make of that?
We
I mean,
talked about this like
incredible.
we talked
It's
about this
great.
like, maybe like 2 starts ago, where like I was like just happened to be going through like the Giants numbers, like who is leading in WAR, like wins above replacement, and he was tied with Rodon. It was like, wait, what? And then you were like, okay, yeah, this guy's just
It's pretty
awesome.
crazy. It's pretty crazy right now. If you look at some of the pitchers across baseball that are doing great. You remember the Giants had Tyler Anderson, and he's now with the Dodgers, and he's
their ace.
He's like 6 or 7-0 or something like that. And
they're paying him nothing.
And Gonsolin is leading the league in ERA with like a 1.59. And Urias and Buehler are getting rocked on many of the outings. It's incredible. And Kershaw's been out. So, Farhan has a lot going for him when it comes to not signing guys for long-term contracts. And I like his approach that he's never given a pitcher more than 3 years, and that was Disco. I don't think he's given a position player in the Giants more than 3 years. So the idea, and I heard Farhan recently say the question came up, where's the big name? How come you haven't signed any big names? And it was like, well, in 19, we brought up Yaz, and then 20 was Ruff, 21 was Wade, and this year it's Gonzalez. They want to make room for these type of guys, because if they block their position players with all these big contracts, you're not going to see some of these guys that have been kind of revelations. So, and I'll ask you this, guys. Who would you rather have right now? Would you rather have Yaz or Cody Bellinger?
That's a good question. I thought you were going to say Chris Bryant.
Cody Bellinger.
Really? I'll take Yaz. I'll take Yaz. Bellinger's hitting in the 200s, and he's struggling second year in a row, and he's up.
So you think Cody Bellinger's washed up?
No, I just think if you
then why would you not take Cody Bellinger? Yaz has never had a year that Cody Bellinger has had.
Because
Plus,
you got to pay
Bellinger's younger, faster.
Yeah, you may have to pay big money though. Or how about Castellanos?
I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying, but I mean Bellinger's had a rough run here now for a couple of years.
How about
but I'd still take Bellinger, I think.
Castellanos or Yaz? There's a guy with a 5-year. I think he signed for 5 years.
I'm taking Castellanos.
Really?
Yeah. Yes. And so's everybody else in baseball. I mean, seriously. I mean, what are you, Willard over here? I mean, you don't want to trade. Willard didn't want to trade Yaz for Aaron Judge.
Oh, I would have done that. I mean, you're talking a top player. I just think
Castellanos. What did Yaz hit last year?
Well, last year, but he's hitting up like
I know, but what did he hit last year?
Low 225,
220.
Yeah,
220.
Like yeah.
So I mean,
he was also coming off.
I'm not anti Yaz. I like Yaz.
Yeah.
I mean, I think he's a great guy and he's a good Giant, no doubt. But Castellanos. There's a reason Castellanos makes so much bank.
How about
there's a reason they gave him tons of cake because he's damn good.
Wouldn't mind seeing with big money, because he's done nothing. The Angels have gone nowhere with Mike Trout. He's been with the team for how many years?
Yeah, I'd rather have Trout. You can have Yaz. I'll take Trout.
No, I'm not talking Trout, but I had a.
we're off of the Yaz now.
Would you trade 4 or 5 prospects like?
Yes,
Matos. I would too. Matos and
doesn't. I don't.
Bednar.
We're talking about Trout. You don't need to name them
exactly.
And whatever you got.
Yeah.
As soon as you propose that trade, I'm saying yes, and then I'll figure out what the offer is later. I mean, seriously, and there's no Trout. Yes, they're not moving Trout.
Do you think he could ever be had? I mean, if the Angels don't make the playoffs again this year,
no.
I think his value going to be ever higher?
Also, I feel like he'd just end up going to like the Yankees or the Phillies or something.
I mean,
Well, he's
also,
from
let's be
Philadelphia.
honest. It's a team sport. Are they not going to the playoffs because of Trout? No, they're just not good enough, even with Trout.
Right. They don't have any pitching. They don't have any reliever.
Well, no, they have the kid Detmers, who
Detmers
just threw a
pitched
no-hitter.
Yeah, but they don't have much after that.
Hey, fellas, sorry to break this up because this is interesting, but I've been putting in the chat. So what I'm thinking is have any time you want, doesn't have to be during the show, call in to the phone number that I put in the chat, the phone number we normally use. I'll put it up right now again.
Oh, is this how we're going to do this?
Yeah. Call in and leave a voice message, a voicemail. So just leave a regular old voicemail, and we'll play the voicemails on the air after or during Tuesday night's post game. So that's probably going to be about a 9:40. Probably like a 9:45 post game, and try and get it in before then. I guess so somewhere before 9:45 on Tuesday. Leave your voicemail with your best Dan Coccimiglio Monster Slam impression, and we'll choose somebody. And
I see Celts Chronicles is saying, "Where are the seats? What's the they're up
Where
in
are the seats? They're in the GD Park. All right.
Yeah,
do you want to go to the game or not?
They're up in the third deck behind the left field foul pole.
Will I get a foam finger?
The last row. No, hey, these are some excellent.
Do you remember Doug
seats.
and Wendy Weiner from from SNL? We don't want to sit by the window. Remember? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Doug and Wendy Weiner with Joe Piscopo. Remember that?
Yeah, these are excellent seats.
Excellent.
Can I show the seats from the my phone on the like a video? Am I able to?
I certainly don't see why not.
Yeah, I mean they're your seats.
I can vouch. I was in there, and they are excellent.
I gotta pull them.
I've never been offered the seats.
Okay, I'm gonna see if I've got a video from.
Handle the seats.
I'm just some poor schmuck here with the damn channel. I don't get the seats.
Okay, there's where the
Danny's
seats
ignoring me as I'm pleading for the seats.
Beautiful.
Oh, look at that! Look at those seats.
They're in the club level. They're on the aisle, so nobody's going to climb. I mean, you don't have to climb through people to get to your seats.
Oh, look at that! It's a beautiful.
My battery's going low. So actually, I have a video of this whole.
Be careful. This is I think Draymond Green went south this way as well. This happened to Draymond Green a few years ago. Let's just be very, very careful here.
Come on, get off there. There we go. Anyway,
Romo 2001. Do an impression, Krug. I don't want a foam finger. Why do I have to sit? What's the level called? Why do I gotta sit in the club level?
Yeah, club level, and they're on the aisle.
I don't want to go to a Rockies game. Do you like
got
that?
Concessions right behind you. You got the restrooms nearby. You can
that's so that right there. The
There you
restroom
go.
is nearby.
Yeah.
So, that's awesome.
So
anyway,
they're good.
What more
seats.
do you need to know? What more do you need to know?
There's section 223, row.
Wait, Dan, what's your social security number, just so they can find the?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that'd be 054 289999. Yeah.
Yes. All right.
As you were responding to Romo, I am currently right now. I'm going to put the text for the Monster Slam. I'm going to put the lyrics, as I guess you could call them.
The lyrics.
Hey, I got copyright on that.
Now Danny's freaking, James Taylor over here.
Copyright on that. I want
shower the people you love with your love.
Yeah, you got to
show them the way you feel.
Hey, let's add one more caveat to that.
Wait a second. Romo 2001 sold toilet access.
let's add another caveat. To
Matthew Mears says the crab sandwich is right there.
No,
yeah, put one on layaway. Put one on layaway. Pay some now, some later.
Yeah, there you go.
It's like
I think-
$22.50.
I think anybody that enters the contest should have to make a donation to the show too.
Exactly.
90 cents.
Seriously, donate something.
Yeah, at least 99 cents. Come on.
All right. All the information you need is now in the description of the show. Yeah. So
Let me see it here. Where is it? I don't see it. I see
We don't
naked-
want to sit on the club level. Oh.
Where's the lyrics here?
it's
The
in
word.
the description of the YouTube. Here.
Oh, I'm looking in the comment. Oh, I thought you put it in the comments.
No, well, I did, but then
Oh.
Romo smartly told me that I should just put it in the description of the YouTube channel.
Are the Cha-Cha Bowls anywhere near there?
No, but Tony's Pizza's right behind you.
I want to go down the slide. Is it near your seats?
Alternatively, you can do the. You can try and. You can do an
What if I
impression
want to
of it.
leave early? Oh.
Oh man.
All right, so it's in there now. Can you read that? No, probably not at all.
I can't.
Will you buy me a souvenir?
Oh, I'm seeing the Tinder.
Oh, nice. Probably time to go. All right, let's do this. And by
Drive
the way,
loop
next
again, kicks out
Saturday.
to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam.
Oh no, that wasn't the real thing.
Oh no,
That was pirated. That wasn't real.
Oh, we got to do this
Trying to
contest
wake everybody
again,
up.
though, but instead it's just going to be with they have to do their own version of a video of the Italian sausage.
Yeah. Can you do Pasquale? Can you imitate Pasquale?
I can do Pasquale because it's like going to.
What the hell?
church
You
without
got to drop a
God.
what the hell in
You
there.
don't believe in God? What are you going to church for?
Uh,
Italians like to talk with their hands. It's like a sausage.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So Saturday, maybe we'll get Ned Coletti on Saturday. Dodgers Giants 4:15 start national TV. So maybe Saturday night, maybe next Saturday night. Look at Buster. Buster's out.
Buster's out.
Hey, Buster, come on.
Buster's thick though. You don't get maybe a pillow. No, nothing. No, you're just going straight.
He's got pillows.
Tile.
He's got places he could go. He likes the cool tile. It's
Larry,
Arizona.
Larry,
I should mention that Danny's in Mesa or Danny's in Arizona. So
Yeah, right now.
this poor dog's hating life.
Oh,
Look at that. That's a
Sit,
great looking
Buster.
dog.
Go ahead and sit.
why don't you
There you go.
give him a kick, Dan?
Yeah, don't
Hey, Faith, you
Seriously.
know how to sit? Try it. Sit, Faith. Faith,
sit.
There you go.
Oh,
Good girl.
yeah.
Oh,
Good girl.
That is worth clapping
Yeah,
for.
way to go, Faith.
That was worth clapping
oh,
for.
that's a great smile on Buster.
Yeah.
The lower teeth.
Yeah, look at those teeth, Buster.
Those are good dogs. Though I think that maybe needs a tooth pulled right there. No, I'm seeing an infected bicuspid on that dog. All right, let's bolt for the door. It's 11 o'clock.
5 minutes, not bad.
Yeah, I mean 3 hours and 5 minutes. Lots and lots and lots and lots of people in the chat tonight. Lots, hundreds and hundreds. Maybe
Final
close to the
thoughts.
record. I think NFL Draft Day we had more between the first and second round. That Friday, the Friday after round one. I think we had like 500 and something people. But tonight, huge number of people in the chat. So. Huge. I mean, seriously. It's gonna have thousands of views tomorrow.
Huge.
So,
Pasquale would say it's huge.
I talk with my hands.
With a Y.
Romo 2001. Another great stream, guys. Yeah, there we go. Hey, great stuff. If you're sitting in the chat right now, and you want to help us out, you want to help the channel, hit like and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed yet, it's as simple as clicking a box, right? You just click a box. That's it.
It's free.
It's free. It will alert you when we're on. You hit that notification bell and you'll be alerted every time we do a live stream, every time we do a post game. If you've noticed by now, the Krueg Show, what we're doing is post game Giants, post game Warriors. We'll do post game Niners at some point. And we're doing a lot of live streams. And trying to get Larry Harris on. I'd love to get Larry Harris between now and in game 3. So I'll work on that with Ray Ritter tomorrow. We were supposed to try to get him in the last couple of days. And Chiguayo, look at this. Chiguayo 56, $2 donation. Krug for those beautiful dogs. Yeah, there's no doubt.
Wait. Did you guys know this must be a Len thing? But he set up a poll. Did you guys know this poll?
No. Who's got the better looking dog?
In the chat that says, "What will Cyrus look like tonight?" And it's either happy, groovy, or totally stoked.
I mean, he was totally stoked. I think it would be the word stoked.
Stoked. I mean, happy won, but you know what? We got 236 votes. I mean, I didn't know that many people had an opinion on Cy.
Seriously, people want to
236 votes. Wow.
And once again, Romo 2001 sold. There's toilet access. So I mean,
and I have to say to the Giants and Gabe, I love you, Gabe.
Yeah. Oh, wait a second. Gabe has just texted back. He said, Dan, relax. And yes, your beard will never be the beard that I have.
Oh man.
Relax.
Yeah, never. I don't have that. I could grow a pretty good beard, but I don't have any stuff on top though, man.
That's all right. We love you whatever way you come. Let's see. Matthew Mears says, I thought totally stoked would win. Okay. Now Matthew's weighing in on the poll question to put up by Len. All right. So, but yeah, if you have yet to do it, hit the like button. That actually does help us. I didn't understand it exactly, but when you hit like, what it does is it kind of screws with the whole YouTube algorithm. Yeah. And it kind of sends more people to the show. So if you can, obviously if you shop our sponsors, that supports the show. If you want to buy one of the Krueg Show podcast t-shirts, that supports the show. But if you just want to help out and you're not able to do either one of those things, just hit like and subscribe. And we're approaching 5,000 subscribers. And we've been doing this since middle of March. So that is a great number.
Like, you're talking about the draft stream, like it is a blur. Like, what was that? Like 3 weeks ago? Like, I don't even know.
Seriously, that seems like a long time ago. And then a week from today, June 12th. So just going over the week that we're doing this week, I will not be here next Sunday. My daughter is graduating from UC Davis. How about that? So congratulations to her. She's wonderful, and she's graduating from UC Davis next Sunday. So I will be taking next Sunday off. We're taking everybody to some fancy restaurants.
For sausages.
Yeah, I will talk with my hands. But good stuff tonight, guys. And why don't we go around the room? One final thought on the night. Giants get a win. They go to 500 road trip. More importantly, Warriors win game 2. And it is a 1-1 series going into Wednesday night in Boston, which used to be called the Fleet Center. Yeah, it's a great look for you, Danny. What do you think? You guys got a final thought before we play the outro music?
I think that this finals, if we win this finals, it would be the most adversity we've faced in NBA finals. And I think it would ultimately be the sweetest. And I really don't care at this point who's the better team. Just matters who wins the series. And you know what? Boston, we've done you enough good. We gave you Tom Brady. We gave you Bill Russell. Gave you Julian Edelman,
Robert Parrish.
We gave you Parrish and McHale. And we took Joe Barry Carroll and Ricky Brown. You owe us, Celtic fans. You remember that. We gave you McHale and Parrish.
Yeah, we could have kept Parrish and drafted McHale. That's crazy.
Ridiculous trade. Most ridiculous trade
that
of all
has to
time.
go down there with the George Foster trade. It may be even worse than
that's
the
even
George
worse.
Foster
It's
trade.
worse.
Yeah, it's worse. You're talking 2 Hall of Famers for a bust.
Yeah, well, he wasn't a bust. Joe Barry Carroll was an awesome scorer. Danny, he was an awesome scorer. Go look at his stats. Look at his stats.
I mean, he was
not
okay,
a bust.
but
He was like 23 a game.
Did they ever make the playoffs with him?
But don't you think it's crazy that
Joe Barry Carroll?
The 2 greatest athletes in Boston sports history both were Bay Area boys.
Isn't that something? And then don't even forget.
And who was the other one? Brady and
Brady
Tom
and Bill
Brady and Bill Russell.
Oh yeah,
But-
that's right.
But no, it's not even 2. It's
USF.
3. How about Dustin Pedroia? Pedroia's from Woodland. That's Bay Area.
Where's Euclid from?
Uke is Uke. Wait a second. No, Uke's not from here. Uke lives here, but he's not from here.
But also Julian Edelman.
Julian Edelman's from here. He's from
That's
Redwood
right.
City.
That's
I
right.
talked to Julian Edelman. His dad runs an auto shop in Redwood City. That I'll tell you, that's a guy I love. I love Julian Edelman, and I love his dad. Man, we had his dad on the show, guys. Just awesome. Just good people. You know that old saying, "Hey, this person's good people." Julian Edelman's pop, good people. Good people for sure.
He made one of the top 3 catches in the Super Bowl. That catch,
He's the MVP.
barely off the ground, that was an unbelievable catch. That one and the one from the New York Giants receiver that off the helmet that I couldn't remember his name. The one that it was against the Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Manningham, it was
David Tyree.
Tyree holding it like that. It's like
That was
unbelievable.
the luckiest catch of all time.
Well,
Romo 2001 says, "Where's Meister Burger?" My son's college buddy who goes to U of O, who was in the chat. Yeah, Burger. Where you at, Burger? Where are you at, Burger?
I thought he was going to come in and flame
Burger talks
broil
a
us on.
lot of smack when the Celtics are winning.
Yeah,
when the
I thought he was
Celtics
gonna-
aren't winning, Burger ain't so he ain't
Well, he didn't-
omnipresent.
He didn't come in after game 1. I thought he was going to come flame broil us, man. We were like
That's
down, and the Burger. I thought he was just going to do us
So
in.
I asked my kid,
and then he's out.
I asked my kid, I said, "Where was Burger? Where was Burger the other night?" And he's like, Dad, Burger had finals. I'm like, great, awesome.
Oh, that's right. He's up there at Oregon, right?
Oregon. He's like,
Yeah.
Isn't that awesome? It's like, where's the key to our show? Oh, sorry, Dad, he had finals. He couldn't join us. All right. Good stuff.
Right. I like your final thoughts. Mine are that game 3 is going to be a huge game. I think the Warriors go in wanting to grab game 3 because they don't want to go down 2-1 and have to win game 4 in Boston. I think their history is they go in on the road and take that game 3 to go up. And I don't know if this thing's going to go 7. It looks like it's going to go 7. Anything could happen.
Smells like it's going 7.
But I hope Larry is right. And then this is the one time I want Larry to be right on all 6 games. He's got the Warriors in game 3, Boston game 4, and then the Warriors to win 5 and 6 and close it out in Boston. So you still sticking with that, Larry?
Yeah, I'm sticking with it.
Okay.
I said before the series, Warriors to lose game 1, win game 2, win game 3, lose game 4, win game 5, win game 6 in Boston. And I still think we're going to see it that way. And how sweet is that going to be clinching on the Celtics parquet?
It might
How
even be as
sweet
sweet
is that going to be?
Sweet Caroline.
Oh yeah, seriously, sing all your songs. I'll say this too. This is my final thought. I don't think I know more than Steve Kerr. Steve Kerr knows more than me. But Steve, I'll say it one last time.
Stop playing Tyler Rogers.
Play GP2. All right. Play GP2. If you're not sure and you're kind of 50-50 and you're wondering, do I go left? Do I go right? Play GP2. I don't know everything, but that's all I got for you. Play GP2. Gentlemen.
Sign off with one more Monster Slam.
Oh, we got it. One more monster.
Again, they push it out to Wiggins. Wiggins drives, goes in for a monster slam.
Yeah, never met a man I've been scared of. Careful, you gon' get exactly what you asked for. Handful, whatever you bring me, getting handled. I answer to no one, I don't need to hassle. Yeah, we ain't never fall back. Hold our ground where we at.